Hi guys, welcome back to Slime Time.
Hello.
I also think I have figured out what our intro is now going to be for Anime Church. It took several months for me to figure it out, so I apologize for yesterday. But I think Anime Church now has an official intro slogan.
Ooh.
So our official intro slogan is "Welcome to Anime Church, the church where not only can you cosplay, but it is highly encouraged." Yeah.
And the points don't matter.
Fair.
Yeah, and the points don't matter.
And
Yes,
the points don't matter.
So not the church.
Oh, come on,
not
one
only,
time
not
with
only,
my
Not only is cosplay allowed, but it's also encouraged. I'm your, and then we do our whole. I am Richie Roberts, your Minister of Science and Technology. We do your whole spiel about introductions.
your spiel.
Yeah. So I think doing that intro helps me remember. Oh, hey, we're supposed to introduce ourselves because I never fucking remember that shit. So if I have like the intro. It is what it is. So if we do the whole see the whole thing is if I do ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, that doesn't lead into introducing ourselves. If I do, hey guys, it's slime time and we're your hosts, it makes a lot more sense. Also, thank you, Moon, for not wearing the same Ghostbusters shirt today.
Oh yeah, Star Wars.
I thought about it. I looked very heavily at that shirt, and I was like, "No, I'm breaking the cycle."
Dude, okay, so here's the
We're
crazy thing.
ending this.
Here's the crazy thing, right? OBS must have done some weird update while I was streaming Resident Evil 4 today. Because apparently, sometime during my stream, my mic cut out. And all the audio from my alerts and everything and all that stuff literally stopped. So all the stuff that I literally was rushing to fix right at the beginning of the stream for Slime,
Pointless.
trying to update and everything, that was something that happened while I was streaming Resident Evil 4 on my channel. Shameless plug, I'm streaming Resident Evil 4 on my channel. You guys should come make fun of me for my not very good gameplay that I'm doing on my channel. Like, alright, here's the thing. If you guys are laughing at how bad Moon is doing on Resident Evil 1, that's how bad I'm doing on Resident Evil 4. So,
That's all point of
Moon
that.
should
Trash.
come, so Moon should come and watch me just so Moon can give me my comeuppance.
Catharsis.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
To be fair, I'm literally starting off with nothing. Nothing.
What is it, like a first time playthrough of it or something?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
That's fair.
However, the difference between this and Resident Evil 1 is RE4 has a new game plus mode. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. The only thing you have to worry... All right, Moon. The only thing you have to worry about when it comes to RE2, and RE2 does not have a new game plus mode. I want to put that out there. You don't have that. You're kind of fucked on RE2. However, certain things do carry over. Such as if you play on the hard mode and you get S+, which means you do have to play on hard mode and like get within a certain time with only a certain amount of saves and like only with 0 deaths.
That's
Yeah. It's crazy, but it is possible because even my ass did it. And I want to point out I'm not that good of a gamer. I talk a lot of shit
How worse?
because I've got hit a lot.
He's talking all that shit.
Because I've got
Get
hit a lot.
smacked.
Because I've got hit a lot. All right. I know how bad of a gamer I am. That's why I'm like, be at my level or better because I'm not a high bar.
I'm trying to encourage you to be better.
I want you to be better because I'm not that good.
Oh, Richie, that voice reminded me of I watched some oh, hang on. I got the stream going at the same time.
Oh, no.
Because making my brain
Oh, no.
I hear 30 seconds for the past, it's
Making my
mixed
brain
again,
downtime.
whatever. Anyway, that voice reminded me of what's his face from One Piece, the chef who teaches Sanji. I
Zeph?
just watched that part where Sanji beats the crap out of Luffy, and it's like, oh, this is some Usopp versus Luffy level shit here. Oh,
That hurts.
the emotions. You know
hurts.
it's kind of fake, but it's like, ooh.
Also, there's a lot of people.
I mean,
There's
at the time.
Please understand that there's a lot of people that may not have gotten that far into One Piece, so probably keep that to yourself. Yeah,
Still don't know shit about One Piece, technically.
as there's one person that's emphatically raising their hands right there on the screen. Yeah.
I'm not sorry. Well, brace yourself is what I'll say.
What?
We'll see.
I mean, they're
when we
already
get to
past
One
that
Piece.
part. Well.
Right, anyway, so I like
It's still- it
I like
hits- it
Ryuma's
hits weird.
comment. I like Ryuma's comment. Welcome back to that time Rimuru fucked with the balance of the world by naming everything.
Naming
still
all the
dealing-
demons.
What
This
would
is-
happen if you
dealing
named
with
the world?
the planet.
Slime
Yeah.
meets. Welcome back
Can
to
you do
Slime
that?
Meets World.
He can't.
Slime Meets World.
Raphael's
I
just
used to
like
watch
he
that.
can't
It's a story about a slime.
process that.
He tried
right?
to
Give
name
me a
the whole
second.
world.
Raphael, he can't. You can't name the whole world. Can't Raphael? Can you confirm that?
He'll fucking try.
it actually takes Raphael the second to process. It's like
Raphael.
Raphael.
Raphael is like, look, I'm still holding his beer. Like,
He gave it to me when he came to this world,
He gave-
and I'm still trying to give it back.
I've never
He
let go.
won't
It's
let-
actually no. I've never let go because if I give it back to him,
he
he's
still
gonna
won't
fuck up.
Let me give him
He's
back
gonna
his
fall on
beer.
his face.
It's like. Meanwhile, Rimaru's just out running through Tempest. Feeny!
And your name is Phil. Your name is Bill. Your name is Till. You know, it's
God
just
damn it.
won't stop naming stuff.
Why is that guy
It's
named
his
Phil-
hobby.
Why is that guy named Phil just out there just why is the guy named Phil running around going do 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 do?
And then Tail's just doing the.
No,
He's just waiting.
no,
He's
no,
just waiting for people.
No, you didn't get the joke. You didn't get the joke. You didn't get the joke.
Shame.
He didn't feel it calling in the
Shame.
air tonight.
No.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. See.
Look, I think we
the-
should
I-
just
the
move
most
on.
I heard your
It's
thing
the-
and I immediately moved on to my
It's
thing.
the most
The joke
epic
was calling out to you, man.
It's the most epic drum. It's the most epic drum moment in the history of music. Do 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 do. And I can
live version
feel
also
it
goes live.
calling
Coming
in the
in the
air. Oh
Oh
Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. Phil Collins. Also, Tarzan
See,
soundtrack.
you can take a lesson from Phil.
Absolutely.
Tarzan
the best.
soundtrack is criminally fucking underrated.
It is.
Yeah.
You
goes hard all the time.
Yeah.
One family.
Family,
Trust
yeah.
your heart. Let fate
Let fate
decide.
decide.
Yeah, I remember
Guide these
now.
lives we see.
All right, so
It's been
before
so
we-
long.
Before we
Gosh.
get any before we go down this rabbit
Get any
hole.
copyright strikes?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, please
take it
open
off.
your
Yep.
holy books of Rimuruism.
There goes my pop.
You got me mid Blackberry.
Your pop filter popped off.
No, I got.
Popped his
I got
pop
like
filter.
No,
Blackberries.
his pop filter
It
popped
popped.
off.
My
His
pop filter
popped
popped.
off.
He popped off.
It popped
I popped
off.
it. This is embarrassing. Oh, it's all caught on camera and everything. Everyone's gonna make
Well.
fun of me in chat.
Popped off.
Oh,
Let's
nine
all point and
people.
laugh.
Good thing this isn't a school.
Popping like it's
Haha,
hot.
very
Popping like
funny.
it's
Popping
Oh,
like
it
it's
is to
hot.
laugh.
I'm popping heat.
All right. So,
like it's
That's
popcorn.
not funny.
ladies and gentlemen of the
I'm not doing it
congregation,
again.
it's time for an intro. Clip that so we can, clip that so we can laugh at this
okay.
humiliation. Oh God! Just lift your magic eel and set it free. It's time for an intro. I'm Richie Roberts. That's Moonlight Sparks.
I'm Moonlight Sparks.
Yeah. That's
Shim,
Shim
shim, shim.
That's Shim Magoo.
Hello.
Yeah.
From Sham
I didn't hear
Magoo.
That just makes me think shim
I didn't
shiminy,
hear
shim
that
shiminy, shim shim sheree.
God damn it!
There is no one I love
have
as
to
much
li-
as thee.
You have to listen. You have to listen to the Shim within your heart.
Mhm.
Ooh, the Shim that believes in you.
Two Shems, one family.
Touche.
Don't
there
believe
are
in
two
yourself.
Shems,
Believe in
one
the Shem that believes in
family.
you.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God
Believe
damn it.
no, Soe. You have to believe in the Benny Morrow that believes in Shion.
But I mean, we all believe in each other.
Look, I am
I
here
don't
as
know,
you
I was
as
gonna
he
go
is,
Soe and
me
Soe,
is me,
but-
and we are all together, okay?
My brain went to a weird place, but thankfully it didn't go too weird.
Well, that's what so-and-so
Oh.
said.
Yes.
Two Soes, one
So-
I'm
Soe.
sorry. Let me
so-
just bring up my.
So-and-so.
Let me bring up my PNG
No one-
VTuber model. Sorry.
Oh my
It's
God.
Two
probably a little bit
Soes
more
hanging in a
interactive for
tree.
you guys.
You know what these guys are doing anymore? Not a damn clue.
No.
Not a damn
No.
clue. All right.
No.
And last but not least, Sonic.
Hey!
Gotta go fast.
Hey.
Gotta go
Whoa.
fast.
By the way, guys, if you
Stop
did
making
not
that face
know,
at me.
if you did not
Well,
know,
I gotta eat ass.
guys, if you did not know, she's back.
Who's back?
She wasn't even gone for half a month. She's back. She has a new name, but she's back.
Oh, you're talking about
The
Kocho.
kettle has
Ah.
returned. She's now
Huh.
called Henya.
I knew she wasn't gonna be gone for long.
Yeah. She's now in V Shoujo.
Yeah.
But our glorious kettle is now back. Yeah.
I mean, they got Case
I
on.
was-
They got.
They got
Usha,
Case
Now they
on.
got her.
Now they've
Mhm.
got our glorious Pika-Bee has returned, but now she is
Mhm.
she is now Henya, and
Mhm.
I went to Twitter to ask her.
Shemya.
Shemya. I went to Twitter to ask her if she's
Shemya.
if she likes Reese's.
Did she answer you?
I have no idea. I have not checked yet. I was gonna send her a gif of Reese's, but I was like, that's probably mean. She's already the
Yeah,
laugh.
if she has a peanut
the
allergy
laugh-
or something.
The laugh has already. She does not have a peanut allergy.
I didn't think so.
The laugh
It'd
has
be
already
kinda funny.
broken through, and she has already said Dio like 4 different times, and she has caught herself, and she's like, "Did I say Dio?
Wait.
Shit."
Like she says
that's
that at
really
con,
hard.
everyone just
It's
erupts in
such a
cheers.
fucking- it's such a fucking habit, and she's trying not to like do things like Pika did, but it's such a fucking habit. Now she has stopped calling her parents Papa Me and Mama Me.
Aw,
she's calling them
I
her
mean,
dad
that's
and her
fine.
mom.
her dad, yeah, and mom, yeah.
Yeah, her dad, yeah, and her mom, yeah. That'd be great. Mom, yeah, pop, yeah. But like, she's
Mom,
already
yeah.
listed off some of her goals, and they were goals that she had when she was Pika, but never got to do. Like, make her own song, like do her own song, 3D models, stuff like that. So it's like really cool stuff, and yeah, just really really cool, cute stuff. That she's wanted to do, and and she said she was gonna stream a bunch, and she already has. She's already started doing a bunch of streams, and funny enough, she's also streaming Resident Evil 4. And
Nice.
so yeah, it's really really funny. She started off streaming Resident Evil 4. She got to the part in the village where like the tower falls, and she's like, "Hi everybody!" Tower collapses. That wasn't me. And then immediately
Hey,
gets
do
tagged. She goes, that wasn't me. Immediately gets tagged by like a fucking demon dog. And like it's the
And you
What a
guys
way to
are-
start a stream.
like, literally the best. She's like, "Hi everybody!" Crash. That wasn't me.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I'm like, fucking
She's back.
perfect.
She's
She's
back.
back.
Yay! It's just that wait, hold on. Was that her like very first like, "Hey everybody, back," and the tree thing comes down like,
She's just like,
Oh.
"Hello." She's like, "Hello, Crash."
that was not planned. That
was
was
me.
not part of the plan. What
She's
happened?
like,
What happened here?
No, it's a scripted moment in the game, but I don't think she knew that.
No. Oh yeah. No way. No
Like-
way.
Like it's her first playthrough of the game, and she's like,
I didn't do
I
it.
didn't do that. And then
I didn't do
immediately
that.
gets attacked, immediately gets jumped on and attacked by a dog, and she's like, "Ah!" Like, it's fucking great.
And the hiatus is officially over.
It's like, oh, we're getting peak content right now. It's just beautiful.
Oh,
it's so
we in
beautiful.
for a night!
We in for a night. Speaking of nights,
Yeah.
I do have to do a second playthrough. I will be doing a second playthrough on hardcore, which is the hard difficulty. I have to do the hard difficulty so I can get Ashley in the night outfit because she gets She gets armor. You get Ashley in armor.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes, it's beneficial because it means that the Ganados can't actually pick her up and carry her away.
Yeah, they like fall over. And
funny.
they
Yeah,
just
they
run up and
fall
stab
over.
them all.
If they fall over
can,
and they
like,
can't actually hurt her.
You pretty much staple them into the ground.
Like
Or something
literally,
like that, I've
they
heard.
can't actually pick her up and carry her away. It makes things a lot easier on you.
She's wearing fucking ceramite.
So it
ultramarine
actually
armor.
makes it easier to get certain
Oh,
things.
what's the?
Putting her in the
what's-
armor actually gives you the infinite makes it easier to get the infinite Chicago typewriter. Which, all right, I think it's called something different, but like I call it the Chicago typewriter because that's what it was in the original Resident Evil. It's basically an old school Tommy gun. It's an old school Tommy gun. It was called the Chicago typewriter back, but it's an infinite, and yeah, and you can also get the infinite rocket launcher later, and yeah. So
And then you can recreate that whole scene from Home Alone. Sure, I believe ya, but my Tommy gun don't.
I believe you.
Yeah, I
But
believe
my
you. But my
Tommy
Tommy
gun
gun doesn't. Let me
What's
introduce
really
you to my friend Tommy.
What's really funny is like that guy that did those like little scenes in that thing for Home Alone.
Yeah.
His grandkids fucking loved that. His grandkids loved him for being in those films. For being in the Home Alone movies. They were like, Grandpa's in Home Alone.
As the
That was
kid, or
No, he was the guy
Okay.
in the movies. They're like,
Okay,
Merry
okay.
Christmas, you filthy
keep the
animal.
change, you
Animal.
frickin' animal.
And a
Yeah,
Happy
okay,
New
okay,
Year.
okay.
Brrr. They
Happy
were like,
New
"Ah,
Year."
Grandpa's in Home Alone. Like, loved
Yeah, mess him up, Grandpa.
it. Kick his
I like when they
ass,
have
Grandpa.
movies inside of movies.
Fork
They're always
him
fun.
up.
All right, anyway.
And it's like, when did you learn that language?
Uh,
We learned it from watching you and your other movies, or
I
whatever.
don't know. All right. So anyway, that having been said, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, yada yada yada. Page 61 of the physical copy. When it comes to Kindle, where are we at?
Oh, it actually
Actually,
gives
we
us a
have actual
page.
page numbers this time, so it should be page 73.
Nice. Get down on
Ish,
your knees
yeah.
and tell me you love
19% through.
hmm
And on Bookwalker, we are on
Thank
page
you.
70.
Yeah, I love that. I love that quote too. Get down on your knees and tell me you love
Tell
me.
me you love me.
God damn it. I was like, that has a new meaning when you're an adult.
Oh yeah, I think that was the first time I heard that as an adult too.
Yeah, man. I was like, oh boy. All right. So Shim, take
Yeah.
it away because we're gonna
Okay.
get through. We're gonna
Do
get
we
through
start
chapter
off
one
from
pretty-
that's all I can think of?
I think so, yeah.
But understood.
okay.
Because of a firm belief, they will win no matter what.
That's all I can think of. I control the council, so I couldn't imagine one of its members betraying me. Maybe then the East developed some amazing new military tech or a battle strategy like none before, or some other ace in the hole. Hinata?
Is the Senate.
I know. You asked me about
I'm-
the structure of the Dwarven Kingdom. What's up?
I just typed that joke in
Controls the
chat.
council.
Oh.
Rimuru is the Senate.
God damn it.
Wah. Oh, wait, no. He doesn't do the wah. He has to say it's treason then, and then he does the
It's
wah.
treason.
Oh, you gotta say it in the Rimuru voice. Or Rimuru or Raphael's voice would it be? It's treason.
slime
Then.
then.
Like,
don't know
no,
how
I
you
imagine
mess
you
up
hear
with
both
it.
of their voice, but it's gradually goes into Raphael, and you just see his
It's-
eyes change.
Treason
Mm.
then. Nom 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 nom.
Just
He
spiraling
doesn't.
through the air.
He doesn't
and
even need to
transforming.
spiral with a lightsaber. It's just nom 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 nom.
He spirals
It
as
does-
his
it does.
slime form and just devours the
Yeah,
Jedi.
yeah. He just. Eats,
I mean, he says he doesn't have to, but that's still intimidating.
he
I'd
just-
be like, oh,
it's-
God.
I don't need Order 66. I'll just eat the whole effing temple.
Bitch, I eat
Yep.
people. Literally.
Hands out.
Bones and all.
That bit.
Yep.
Rimuru and Luffy enter a town. The town is eaten.
Oh, God.
There was no town by nightfall.
The town does not exist anymore.
Rimuru and
This is
Luffy.
an X-town.
Rimuru and Luffy enter a town. They both burp.
Yeah.
There is no town. Next story.
No, they enter the town. The
end.
town then enters them.
That's an abridged.
The end.
I'm going to eat your dog. Nom nom.
Mm-hmm.
God damn
Yum,
it.
yum, yum.
Nom,
By
nom.
the way, that reminds me, I did do the El Gigante fight, and I named because I did rescue the dog. Guys, there's no spoiler for this. Resident Evil 4 happened in like Resident Evil 4 came out in like what,
When it release?
2005 or 2007?
Yeah, I mean, if it came out like
It came out a
even
long
6
time
months,
ago.
you're
This is
good.
like this is like not new news. There's a dog that there's an optional thing that you can save a dog earlier in the game from a bear trap. It happens in a different place in the remake. I won't say where. That way I'm not
Yeah, that would
spoiling
be
at least
spoilers.
that because it's different in the remake. But like you could save a dog from a bear trap, and if you do, the dog helps you out in the El Gigante fight. I named the dog Ranga.
Oh, that's adorable.
You don't have the option to name the dog in the game. I just called it Ranga. So I was like,
That's fair.
go
Nothing
Ranga,
stopping
good
me.
boy. Like, yes. So Ranga helped me beat El Gigante. Yeah.
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 Nice.
Were you able to name your save file at Gopta or something then? or-
No, you can't name
Yeah,
your save file set.
If only. I know
If
some games let you
only.
do that.
After
Like
me
Nintendo
hearing
really
it
lets
Oh.
you do
on
that, but
Or like name every single time you save a different thing, like in an old point
Luffy,
and click adventure.
Oh.
Luffy convinced Rimuru to name the town Buffet. That's what
Buffet.
Buffet.
And it works.
Luffy and Rimuru enter
Yeah.
town together. You let
There was an
who-
old,
you let him do what?
You
He entered the town
Okay.
with who? Luffy. You signed our death warrants? Just grabs the other guy. You just signed it.
Yeah.
It's like you just launched a nuclear bomb.
I
That'd
think
be
it'd be
worth
more
than
like
that.
Luffy and Rimuru finally met. Luffy is now named Luffy, by the way.
Luffy is now named Luffy.
Luffy was renamed to Luffy.
Luffy
No,
was
no,
renamed
no.
Luffy.
He'd be renamed to King Luffy.
Har, 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 a pirate.
Har, har, har,
Yeah, it's
har,
hard
har.
for me.
Oh, a
Good.
pirate's life for me.
Okay. Luffy's just like, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. Meanwhile, Rimuru's on the ship, like, okay,
Okay, you are king of the pirates. You are King
Works for me.
Luffy.
okay.
You're Luffy, king of the pirates.
No, just
there.
Pirate King Luffy. Done.
Pirate
Oh, yeah.
king.
I mean, they never really talked about their naval
Pirate King
operations. So I mean,
Luffy.
hey,
Okay.
you know,
Do they?
Yeah.
You're implying that he has naval operations in his brain. It's not
Not yet.
Nami or Sanji or Zora even.
Bro.
bruh.
You're seriously overestimating Luffy's ability to strategize. This motherfucker.
Yeah.
could
Oh
not
no,
win-
for a ship.
This-
I'm not
this
for battle,
motherfucker-
yeah, but
this
for a ship,
motherfucker-
no.
This motherfucker couldn't win a game of Battleship.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm giving
It's
Luffy
true.
too much credit. He could not
Yeah,
win a
exactly.
game of Connect 4.
So,
That's
wait,
true.
I'm not supposed to
Checkers.
eat these little circular things? But they look like cookies.
They're not
Rimuru.
pepperonis, Luffy.
What about
But
the
why
yellow
do they
ones?
taste like them?
No, they don't.
They don't. They.
For the
Well, if
last
they didn't
time,
want people to confuse them for pepperonis, they
For
shouldn't
the
have
la-
colored them that way.
for the last time,
Nom, nom,
Luffy,
nom.
pepperoni is not crunchy. Anyway,
I mean, it
Are
shouldn't
you
be.
sure?
Luffy.
Those are supposed to be poisonous. It's
Anyway.
like, you know, I take that back.
Yeah.
Anyway, yip.
Yeah.
All right, moving
We've
on.
got
Yep.
maybe what, one paragraph in?
Yeah, not very far.
Not even.
Not even.
It's a half an hour.
Yeah.
Chat is distracting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hinata?
Damn you, Super Kami Luffy! Alright, continue.
Oh god damn it!
I read one word.
I know, right?
Hinata. I know. You asked me about the structure of the Dwarven Kingdom earlier. Well, it's not impossible to march an army through it. She wasted no time picking up on my intentions. The Dwarven Kingdom was neutral, and I doubted Gazel would give them permission to pass, but that was the safest route an army could take to invade the West. In fact, you know, I dismissed the notion at first, but is there a chance they'd attack Dwargon first? How shameless. You asked me to investigate that question because you thought so, didn't you? Hold on. Oh, that was Hinata, okay. Oh, was Hinata praising me? I'd only just thought of that now, or I'd only thought of that just now, but, oh well, let's roll with it. You knew, huh? Well, the possibility's there. Let's tackle it, I say. I resolved to contact Gazel and work out a plan. I'd be much more than an annoyance if it happened, a real disaster, in fact, but it wasn't something we could wish away. With Tempest now holding the Council's military power, it was our duty to bear the full brunt of combat. If you weren't around, it would have been Granville and Luminous facing off against the Empire. Gaius sounded like it was none of his business now, but the size of the Empire's force was a question mark. In that scenario, it'd be the Rozo's combined armies, Hinata's Crusaders, and Lubelius standing force fending it off. No matter who won, it didn't matter to Guy. So why did he take Yuki's offer then? I can only surmise that he had his own motivations. I suppose that strange word, game, was the key to understanding that, but it's not like he'd give me a straight answer. I'll provide support too, but don't expect me to take orders from you, all right? Said Hinata. I could understand that. Hinata had no reason to oversee the front lines herself. I'm still not... Oh, wait, hold on. I'm still not exactly sure if this will turn into war, but we'll figure out something. Hinata, you guys should prepare in case the Empire completely bamboozles us with their invasion. Roger that, and we'll take care of any of their agents disguised as merchants. Her smile was a little frightening as she accepted, but this was fine. Now I didn't have to ask for anything. Rimuru, a troubled-sounding Luminous said, if you are defeated, it will come down to us to fight. I advise you to do whatever it takes for that not to happen. I could believe it. Between accounting for casualties and repairing their destroyed cathedral, Luminous was in no shape to focus on war. I should have been happy I got Hinata's support at least. My main concern is whether I can get Yuki's cooperation. Our feud went down to the root. He had the Kingdom of Farmus do his bidding, which led to all sorts of horrors for Shion and her force. He was controlling Clayman, and if you turn back the clock enough, he was even involved with the uprising led by Geld in his Orc Lord days. If you ask someone to forget it all and let bygones be bygones, well, that wasn't how people worked. Are you worried about us, Sir Rimuru? Shion could be sharp like that sometimes. I wouldn't even say anything, but she could see exactly what conflicted me. Well, kind of. I'm not about to start trusting him out of the blue given everything that's happened so far. In fact, I couldn't trust him at all. If a war suddenly broke out, there was nothing you could count on less than an ally you couldn't trust. Now that Yuki's gone, I've got no idea how he'll move, Guy carelessly added. Not that I care, really. If you can handle all that for me, then perfect. Hearing that made me decide, finally, that counting Yuki as part of my force was hard to picture. Then I will ask Soe to examine his movements, and only examine them, said Diablo. If you could, please. That's enough about Yuki for now. We'd have to see how things went. At the very least, I wasn't going to get all buddy-buddy without an apology. We were running a country here, so depending on what he did, I could imagine us patching things up. But I wasn't broad-minded enough to forgive him in exchange for nothing. Are you good with this, Shion? Of course. I'll crush him if he opposes you, and if he reconciles with you, I'll forgive him after I punch him out. Just don't kill him when you do, I said to myself. Although she did, I chalked that up as an accident. Yuki didn't want to kill me or Shion, so I could guarantee it wasn't on purpose. So we shunted the question of Yuki to the future. Guy had one more thing on his mind. The main thing, in fact. It was about the hero Chloe. I know that Granville's mission was to unlock the thing Luminous here was trying so hard to hide in her domain. I was watching to make sure that thing didn't go out of control, but Diablo was all, just leave it to Rimuru, So he decided to travel here to see how things were turning out. When did Diablo say that anyway? Then I remembered. Diablo did run off for a bit during the battle, didn't he? He must have been doing a little unauthorized negotiating. I can't say I like that, but it turned out to be a masterstroke. If Guy had gotten involved in that fight, there's no telling what could have happened. We were talking about that a moment ago. We were talking about that a moment ago, actually, but now that you're here, why don't I summarize things for you? I decided to control the summit and go over everything one more time. I didn't think Leon and Luminous would say anything I didn't want them to, but still, just in case. The really important stuff, Chloe's time travel, the countless loops she's made, that was all best left hidden. Besides, as long as I didn't tell Guy, he had no way of knowing. So we defeated the Berserk Cronoa, and that settled things for good. My story thus wound up pinning most of the blame on Cronoa, but I only did it to protect Chloe. When I started talking about how Chloe was Cronoa, it just made things more complicated. So I wanted to keep that a secret from Guy. Alright, quite a tough battle, it sounds like. So, can I ask you something? Sure, anything. That girl over there is clearly a hero. Mind giving me an explanation? Oof. I tried to hide that, but Guy was just too smart to fool. Well, in that battle, a hidden force within this girl woke up. I attempted a believable, if wholly absurd story. You liar. So much for that. It certainly made for a classic fantasy, discovering your powers in the heat of battle, but the excuse had no chance of working. To tell the truth, Chloe here, Leon said as I hesitated, is the exact person I spent years searching for with my targeted summoning. She happened to be there for some reason, and thanks to that, we were all saved. I had no idea where Leon was going with this, but if I wanted to slog through it, I had no choice but to follow his lead. Indeed, Luminous said before I could speak up. I was quite surprised as well, but this Chloe turned out to be the most suitable sealing vessel. Now she was adding her own take to the story. So it's up to me to tie it all together then? A sealing vessel? A quizzical guy asked, looking right at me. That's what I want to ask, I thought. By now, there was no chance we could be honest with him. I had to keep going. Yeah, the way Leon described it, she's got this unique ability to steal any target's power and seal it within herself. I could hardly believe it. But we've got the results right before our eyes, so I kind of have to. How was that, huh? And I even passed it to Leon. It was his turn to take over, but Luminous was quicker. You're absolutely correct. Now, I'm afraid to say, I've lost my most prized of hidden weapons. But I suppose I can accept that over an uncontrollable death machine on the rampage. She seemed embittered, truly embittered. It was an A-list performance. I almost wanted to applaud her. Now Leon just had to wrap it up. I can see why. Guy, there are many powerful forces in the world, yourself included. I wanted to protect Chloe against these advancing threats, but I never thought she'd use her force right after I met her. I'm just as unlucky here, Leon sighed. His depression hardly seemed contrived at all. If Luminous won the Best Actress award, he'd be sharing the stage as Best Actor. Regardless, we now had a coherent story. Chloe sealed Cronoa away, and thus she had obtained the powers of a hero. You three aren't trying to trick me, are you? Not at all, I retorted. You've always been too doubtful of others, Leon agreed. Indeed, said Luminous. Stop fretting over trivialities. We all sworn upon Guy's doubt in unison. Such instant teamwork was a result, I suppose, of how much we all cherished Chloe. But, you see, she's obtained hero powers. She's obtained hero powers, don't you? Are you just going to leave her be? Guy asked. Leon rose from his seat. Don't worry, Guy added with a laugh. I'm not going to touch her. Fine then. If you are ever to threaten her, you'll have to address me first. Leon sat back down. Things were tense in the chamber now, but Guy wasn't being the least bit hostile. I, too, was worried Leon might try something unadvised, but he was surprisingly calm. That reassured me well enough, but the next moment I was chilled to the bone. A sword glinted. The guy's hand was a longsword produced from parts unknown, and it was now headed straight for the back of Chloe's neck. The speed of his technique was nothing short of supernatural. My perception speed, enhanced a million times over, told me I'd still never make it in time. And the same was true for Leon and Luminous. Our faces twisted in horror as we tried to turn away from the tragedy about to unfold. But, the next moment, a clear tone echoed across the chamber. The little Chloe had, or it's like a gasp or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The little Chloe had now grown and was wielding a sword nobody saw her unsheathe to take the force of Guy's blow. Her very clothing had transformed to that of a hero. She had mastered the use of the Holy Spirit armor as if it naturally came to her. Hello to you, Demon Lord Guy. This is the first time I've seen you in the flesh. You're quite powerful indeed. You ain't too shabby yourself. Your name's Chloe, then. There's only a few people like that who can use that power. Myself included. Guy and Chloe congenially greeted each other, but I found myself unable to remain calm. I simply had no idea what just happened. Even with my super enhanced perception, I missed it. Clearly, this wasn't some chintzy old hyperspeed move. The air around them wasn't even vibrating. It was magic or something else. At a time like this, I had the perfect partner to help out. Raphael, your commentary, please.
Report unknown. Analysis and assessment of the subject Chloe Alber's actions failed.
Really?
Yeah,
The funniest part about
really?
this page. The funniest part about this page is on the Kindle. It's just really, and everything else is white.
Everything's gone.
Mhm.
There's nothing
That's
there.
amazing.
Yeah, I got that
It's-
too.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's to emphasize the fact it's like, wait, this is
Like,
the first
No,
time.
it's because
like,
there's a picture.
Yeah, it's
Well,
because
yeah,
there's a
that.
picture. Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
it would
but
be
it's
more
just
funny. It's
funny.
like,
It's
wait,
funny.
really? The first time
Yeah.
Raphael, I mean, not the first time, granted, but like you could see it like, you
Granted.
really don't know?
Yeah.
What?
It was rare
That's
for
impossible.
Raphael.
You know everything. Sorry.
I mean, it is true. That is weird.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
You know everything.
there are some unexplainable things in the world. So.
How could you not know this?
I love that somebody was literally asking, like, hey, what's up? What's up with slime? Because like, if Rimuru is Minyu, then who is Great Sage? And I'm like, and Tony was like, you can field this one, and I'm just like, I'm not saying a goddamn thing.
You can't.
I'm like,
I
literally can't say anything because you have to wait.
You can
for
say
Slime
Great
9.
Sage is Great Sage.
Great Sage
Yeah.
is Great Sage. You literally have to wait for Slime 9.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wait for Slime 9.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming.
It's coming, and it's
Yeah.
at the end of Slime 9. It's literally in the post-credits. If you don't wait for the credits,
You're gonna make him watch a post-credit scene?
If you don't do the post-credits, if you don't check out the post-credits, that's not my fault. That is not my fault. That's your own goddamn fault.
Yep.
We be dropping
Credit
hits.
is due where credit is due. Read the credits.
Read the
You can sit
post-credits.
through like
Stay
2
till
minutes
after
of
the credits.
Yeah, sit your ass down
But
and wait for the credits.
But I really
Yeah.
gotta pee. What is this, the movie theater?
Okay?
I didn't make
You can
like
go
a
pee in the bottle like
This
everyone
ain't
else.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't make you sit around for all that, man. That was a long ass movie, bro. Guardians 3.
Oh,
I
how
should
long
watch
was
that
it?
one, too.
That was like 2.5 hours.
Oh
Was it
shit, we're
good?
going on a tangent again.
It was good though. It was hella good. Guardians 3 was a good ass movie. Anyway,
Cool. I should watch
Endgame
it.
was over 3 hours, right? If I'm not
something
mistaken.
like that. Yeah, it was
Okay,
pretty
so it's
damn
the
good.
Yeah, but I
comparison.
mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but it was really
Given
good.
the everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
Anyway,
comparing it like that.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah,
How long
let's
the length
keep
was.
going. Sorry.
It
Yep.
was rare for Raphael to say, I don't know, like that.
Aw.
Whether through prediction or calculation, it always provided me with some kind of information. If it had nothing to offer, then what just happened really was beyond the realm of understanding. In other words, nothing I could handle. I looked around, surprised, trying to gauge everyone's reactions. Leon and Luminous seemed just as freaked out as me, not angry about Guy's behavior as so much as trying their hardest to grasp what had just unfolded. Everyone else in the room? Forget it. They didn't even see the swords move. This was way beyond their comprehension. Diablo, at least, was visibly surprised. Maybe something about this encounter was familiar to him. Resolving to ask him later, I decided to stop Guy and Chloe. The latter was already readying her own attack, all but declaring the next move for herself. They seemed so friendly with each other a moment ago. Why was all this happening? They clashed swords several more times. They were single strikes, not part of a combo. It was like watching a photographic sequence of a sword fight, one stance after the next, I think. And really, I think, was about the best I could do. Stop! Stop! So I threw myself between them. It was a wager based on my guess of where the next strike was, and apparently it paid off. Whoa! Don't just butt in. I could have ripped you apart if we got that wrong. Yeah, Rimuru, Guy wasn't serious. He was just testing me. But I'm glad you're concerned for me. Chloe had pulled me into a hug and kissed me on the cheek. Again, it was like a jump cut. One frame, then the next. I had no chance of dodging it. Let me just say it was like an act of God, an irresistible force. Then the moment she gave me that kiss, Chloe shrank down, or really, turned to regular old kid Chloe. Ugh, she said, bright red and quivering. Why'd you have to hug and kiss Rimuru like that? Was that Cronoa just now? I asked. Yeah, she switched with me. As she explained it, Chloe withstood the first attack, but Cronoa took over after that. They looked exactly the same, so it was a little hard to tell. Rimuru, I appreciate you stepping in to help Chloe, but I can't allow you to get any more familiar with her. Leon waited for Chloe to calm down and then picked her up. Oh, come on, Leon. You worry too much about me. He put her back in her seat and fixed Guy with an icy glare. Guy, I thought you weren't going to touch her. Yeah, sorry. Just wanted to test her out a bit. I wasn't going to kill her, of course. Regardless, you may not want to kill someone, but your power is beyond any measure. Leon seemed pretty bent out of shape, uninterested in letting Guy have his way. In another moment, the verbal tirade began. It took Chloe herself intervening to end it, explaining that Guy didn't intend to hurt her, and that she wanted to test him out as well. It looked like she got a little carried away too. It wasn't strictly Guy's fault. If I had to guess, I'd say Chloe or Cronoa, or Cronoa, wanted to gauge the strength of Guy, the man who likely caused her death in the future. But what happened just now wasn't the future she experienced. She had a new power this time, the ultimate skill Yog-Sothoth, Lord of Time, if I recall. And I was sure she wanted to see if it'd work on Guy.
A new possibility has arisen. If the powers of the unique skill time travel were merged with the ultimate skill, Yaxaroth allow the subject Chloe Albert to control time itself, then analyze and assess will always fail, since it cannot evaluate phenomena separate from its own timeline.
Holy shit, this is some JoJo nonsense. This is great. Cool.
Zawardo!
Yeah, this
Chloe has the
basically is Zawaldo.
Zawaldo.
That's awesome.
Where is
Oh.
Zawardo?
I can't do that sound effect, but
There he is!
Oh.
Like, immediately. There he is!
Actually, I think I do have the. I need to put that on my sound pad and then I can play it maybe.
the Zawaldo sound or a sound stop
Yeah.
or time stop.
God damn it.
Yeah,
That's a
that
cool
sound
sound.
effect.
God
Any-
damn it.
yeah.
do it too, but mine's
I
apparently
may-
incredibly loud.
Oh, is that
Let
it?
me see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that it? So Chloe's new ability basically lets her stop time? Raphael was currently doing assessment work on time travel, but reportedly it'd take a while to finish up.
Yeah.
It sounded like Chloe just inserted. So, what's up?
I
What'd you
just
say?
said, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
shit,
it's just
Sherlock.
time stopping.
Oh, that was
It sounded
just a-
like
Oh, that was another guy. Shit. No,
Oh,
first
shit.
name. Shit. no.
Shit, Sherlock. First name, no.
No. Yeah.
No, that was some other guy. Shit, Sherlock.
Yeah,
First name, no.
There
There we go.
we go.
Yeah.
Bitch, I do what I want!
Smash, smash.
Smash,
Yeah.
smash.
it sounded like Chloe just inserted that unique skill straight into Yog-Sothoth.
Ah,
I'm sure it-
insert me.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Insert me.
Oh, good,
Yeah, we're just being stupid. Just keep going.
good.
Shut up,
Okay.
Cell.
Being idiots.
Idiots
I'm
doing
Idiots.
idiots doing idiot things because they're idiots.
They're idiots.
Yes.
Exactly.
Idiots. Don't give it up, Richie. Idiots.
No,
Don't give it up,
no,
Moon.
No,
No.
Moving
Feel
on.
pain.
Moving
okay.
on.
I'm sure it is hard to understand data you can't even measure, but regardless, Chloe had made it her own. Astounding as it was, stopping the flow of time felt like such a cheat. No wonder my sped up senses couldn't track her. If we're all letting time flow around us, there's no way we can observe something frozen in that dimension. But hang on. Assuming that theory is correct, if someone can't access a world frozen in time, there's no way for them to interact with someone who is in that world, right?
Suck it, Spock.
Understood. This interpretation seems correct. Bitches.
Oh man, part of me wanted to hope that, and it seemed like the only logical answer. I mean, even Cronoa was killed by Guy once, but if she could stop time, she was untouchable. It made perfect sense.
Uh-huh.
Conversely, did that mean Chloe could fend off Guy? She was just a cute little girl, and really, she was stronger than me even. When it dawned on me, I broke into a cold sweat that nobody else noticed.
Depression.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Just, Either way, Leon backed down and peace prevailed once more. Hold on. You value Ramirez a great deal, and I value Chloe a great deal. I'd advise you to make a note of that. Leon sat down, making it clear he wouldn't allow that a second time. As would I, Luminous added. Guy, I will freely recognize you as the strongest of all, but losing our help would only harm you in the long run, no? If you do intend to antagonize us, that is a different story, but you should know that we will both treat any attack on Chloe as a hostile act. Luminous must have been pretty pissed herself, rebuking Guy right alongside Leon. In situations like these, it was usually a bad idea to specify what was valuable to you, but with Guy, the opposite was true. If Guy really wanted to be hostile, there was nothing you could do. That was why they both overtly told him to lay off Chloe. All right, I'm not here to start trouble, okay? Just stay out of my way, and I'm not going to touch anything you hold dear, you know? Guy, to his credit, acted sensibly about it, promising he'd keep Chloe safe. And the fact that this precious little girl was far stronger than us, or all of us, was something I decided to keep to myself. The summit came to a close in the evening. Shuna prepared dinner for us, so we moved over to the banquet hall. I couldn't help but notice that nobody seemed in a hurry to leave until we'd finished the meal. The main dish was a stew of cubed pork. Oh.
It's just like, please, guys, could you just go? But you can't say it. It's rude.
Yeah.
They're just here for a free meal. Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey,
Hey, Shuna's cooking, so.
Anyway.
yeah. The main dish was a stew of cubed pork, or some kind of monster's meat that resembled pork, accompanied by fried eggplant, tofu, and with thick ankake sauce and miso soup. This all came with steamed fluffy jet black rice. the black spell rice we stumbled upon a while back. It wasn't a multi-course meal or anything, but considering this whole summit wasn't even planned for, I didn't want to hear any complaints. Oh? This isn't tempura. By the sound of Luminous's grumbling, she must have liked tempura a lot more than I realized. No need to worry, Luminous. This should be even tastier. Never underestimate Rimuru's lust for good food. Hinata had my back, although I couldn't tell why. I wasn't even sure if I should be happy about it. Honestly, getting complimented for my love of cuisine didn't mean much if that was the only thing about me she was willing to compliment, but whatever. So our little dinner event began, and fortunately all the guests seemed to enjoy themselves. Ah, I see. Yeah, your cuisine around here ain't bad. Guys sounded genuinely impressed. These flavors mystify me, but at this level, I'd say it passes muster. Eating everything and not complaining about it was, I suppose, Leon's way of giving a meal high praise.
Fucking
Dang.
what the fuck?
Dang.
All right, it passes muster, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
How? Just say it's good.
For real.
Why say lot word when few word do trick?
Because Demon Lord etiquette.
I guess so.
Yeah,
This is an
yeah.
exquisite meal.
All right, anyway.
It certainly riles my hyperboles. Sorry.
And then Chloe's over
Anyway.
here. This is good. See, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
see,
all you need.
There.
Eating literal
Yeah.
gold, Leon. This meal is okay, I suppose.
What the fuck are we eating then if
The
this is
tang
only
is
okay?
a little bit to be desired for, I suppose. But maybe if you added
The
a little bit
texture
of
is
this,
atrocious, but the
this,
flavor.
Chloe over here. This is not the best thing in the world. See, there you go. You could just say that.
Meanwhile, someone in the back, it's fucking bad. See? Why aren't you blunt like that?
See, Steve gets it.
Yeah. Eating
Steve's
everything
blunt.
and not complaining about it was, I suppose, what was Leon's way of giving a meal high praise. You were right after all, Hinata. Another rare and exotic spread, but quite attractive nonetheless. Ooh, this really takes me back.
If you're gonna
Yeah,
sit here and
that's- yeah.
freeload off my fucking country, off my food of my country, and you're not even gonna bother complimenting the food, next time you
Get
come
out.
over here to bum a free lunch, I'm gonna make sure it's Shion's.
Honestly,
Yes.
yeah, that's some like picky.
Shion,
Picky,
prepare the
nitty-gritty shit.
Leon specialty.
You
Yeah,
come to
prepare-
Yes, my
my
lord.
house.
Prepare Leon's lunch.
You come to my house and you
Yeah.
shit on my food.
You stick your nose up at
That
my
you get it
food that
for
we cooked for
free.
you. Yeah, you
For
got
free.
for free.
the Shion
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, fuck you.
Give that man the Shion.
Shion,
special.
prepare
Yeah.
the Leon special. And then he'll be like, I'll be good.
Prepare
Damn right
the
you will.
camps.
I'll be.
Prepare
Yeah.
the special.
Prepare the camps.
Like he says it in that voice, and she gets really,
Yeah.
oh yay!
Prepare
Oh, God.
the camps.
Anyway,
Prepare the
Hmm,
camping food.
Diablo,
Yeah.
prepare the
it's just like a
caps.
can of spam flipped upside down, and it's slowly fucking.
Or like wet tuna.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Shion spam. Shit.
Ugh.
Shion
It's-
spam.
Oh.
Shion spam. It still has eyeballs.
So as
that
it's
blink
sliding
at you.
Extra
out, it's
thick.
screaming.
It's like
Just
it's as it's sliding out, you can still see the eyeballs blinking at you. Like God
Yeah,
damn.
just looking at you directly.
a bowl
It's
of
like-
purple
A
bowl of
abomination.
purple abomination.
It looks at Leon's like, bet you wish you can't blend the food now, huh, bitch?
Slop.
I don't like his Mr.
You,
Popo voice.
the dirt, the worms in the dirt.
The Popo
Next
stool.
time,
Stool.
the next time you come to Tempest, maybe you'll learn the fucking pecking order. Like,
Bitch.
Order.
bitch,
Of course.
Enjoy the climb back
You
up.
can't do this.
Bitch.
Pecking order.
Pecking
order.
order.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I will sick Cleo or
We will
Chloe on
defend.
you.
We will fucking defend Tempest food, man.
Yeah, I mean.
Leon decides to
fuck on.
smack top Remo. Was like, I will get Chloe out here.
Mhm. Yep.
I will
Anyway.
make that call. I have her at speed
Yeah.
dial. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to let Shem continue.
Ooh, this really takes me back. Being able to taste this one more time. It makes me glad to be alive. Luminous seemed satisfied, and Hinata was hyping me up way too much. But I suppose this was her first Japanese-style pork stew in, 2,000 years? Would you have preferred white rice? I asked her. I appreciate the thought, but I'm used to this kind of thing by now. Oh? Well, good. 2 millennia had given her a lot of time to sample all sorts of stuff, I'm sure. So the wrong color wasn't about to make her wrinkle her nose. Besides, unlike Chloe, Hinata apparently hadn't been able to actually taste anything she ate during those 2 millennia. All she could see was Chloe's visual feed, so the mere act of eating was a real thrill. Considering, even imagining, what she went through, I could see why this was such a divine experience. So the dinner banquet proceeded to generally good reviews. Once it was over, the Demon Lords rapidly prepared to head home. They were more than welcome to spend the night, but now that their business was done, they didn't seem interested in sticking around. Chloe, if you ever get sick of this place, don't be afraid to contact me. I'll come pick you up at once. Leon still hadn't given up. By the sound of things, we had actually argued a bit about who would take in Chloe. But my friends are here, and I like Rimaru's place. We wound up respecting Chloe's wishes, but it was safe to assume Leon wasn't going to let it rest. He didn't even try to hide his attachment to her. I had my reservations about his approach, but there was no doubting his fervent desire to keep her safe and protected. Chloe could feel it too. Leon, I'm really glad to see you worried so much about me, but you don't need to be all that worried, okay? I'm not a kid anymore. She gave Leon a hug. Leon's face betrayed a gentle smile as he patted Chloe's head. They were raised virtually as siblings way back when, and Leon definitely cherished her. Then she separated from him and shifted into her adult form. Here, see? With Cronoa's power, I can go back to my grown-up self. So quit worrying, all right? She smiled. I assumed she wanted to put Leon's mind at ease, but that smile packed an incredible punch. It was endearing, fleeting in a way, but it revealed all the strength in her heart. There was just that kind of charm to it. All right, he said with a chuckle. You become such a beautiful woman. Wonderful. Sorry. Freudian slip. You become such a wonderful woman. But I'm always going to cherish you. You can count on me anytime. Leon was always a heartthrob like that.
Okay,
He had the composure, you could say, of a grown man, and it suited him well. No way I could even begin to imitate that, I thought as I watched. But then Leon turned around and flashed me a steely glare. The difference was intense. She says she's a grown-up now, he told me. Does that mean you've gone? No, of course not. I don't even technically have a gender.
God.
Oh,
Down.
Like, chill.
Leon!
Leon. Chill.
She's like
Put
8.
your murder boner away.
Go
Yeah,
take a goddamn cold shower. Fuck's sake, dude.
Yeah, so I wasn't even all that off by having her call her beautiful. Okay, well, Jesus Christ, man. Talk about a huge misunderstanding. I take back about what I said about his maturity and composure because he certainly didn't treat me with any of that.
Yeah.
I worked tirelessly to defend myself, and Chloe yelled at him once she caught wind of it. So I figured Leon was sufficiently convinced, but even now, it was only that way on the surface. If you want more evidence, I present this little tidbit he whispered to me as he left. I think you know this, but don't you dare do anything to put Chloe in harm's way. You understand me. This struck me as overprotective. Yeah. But then, Leon had expended every method possible to search for Chloe, who had been summoned from the same world as him. It made sense that he worried about her. He went on his way without further comment.
The Yandere Demon Lord.
What'd you say?
Leon.
The Yandere Demon Lord.
I'm like,
Oh.
yeah.
He's literally the Yandere Demon Lord.
Yeah,
is,
for
though.
Chloe. Okay, real
Yeah.
quick. I think I got this add in. Let me see. Hopefully it's not too loud.
No. No.
Made,
Did it play?
No. We're not
Did it
doing
play?
I don't know.
Oh, it didn't play? Oh, dang. Oh,
I'm-
It
some
doesn't
of them
matter.
don't.
It doesn't matter. We're not doing
Yeah.
them. No. No soundboard.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No soundboard. No soundboard.
Sound pad, but different. But oh, well.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. We're not
potato
doing.
vegetable.
It didn't play anyway,
Okay.
I guess. Oh well.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It made sense that he worried about her. He went on his way without further comment, so I was happy. I promised him that Chloe and I would come visit, and thanks to her, I think Tempest would be building formal ties with this domain of El Dorado pretty soon. He kind of irritated me sometimes, like a brother-in-law does, I suppose. But I could deal with it. After Leon went on his way, it was Luminous's turn to dote on Chloe. I suppose you've settled down where you've settled down, Chloe. But to me, you are a valued and trusted friend. If you have any difficulty, I will gladly discuss it with you. So do not hesitate to bring it up. Take care. And this is a sister-in-law, I'm assuming? Now that I said that out loud, of course. No need to go out of my way to anger people. The final farewell, Luminous and her entourage sped off. Hinata was gone too, so that just left Guy by himself. I turned towards him, wondering if he was going to leave, and there I saw Diablo picking a fight with him.
It's like,
Now-
why are you still here?
Hold on. No.
Yeah.
Hold it. Here it is.
Now, shall I continue my story from before? Diablo began. Nah, I've heard more than enough of it. No need to be shy. Can you stop trying to seduce me with that garbage too? What the hell is Diablo doing? Well, so be it then. Allow me to change the subject. I would love to discuss Testarosa's and my other underlings' work ethic and some amusing anecdotes related to Rimuru. I know you were interested in that. I was astounded at just how much he wanted to hear his own voice. Guy seemed to agree with me. Oh, no, I'm sure you're all busy right now, so I'll stop by again when things calm down a little. Guy wasted no time turning him down and fleeing. I guess even Guy got flustered sometimes. It was kind of odd to see. I couldn't help but feel he was a lot more approachable than I thought. He still kept you on your toes, and maybe I didn't have to worry so much about him but maybe I didn't have so much to worry about with him anymore. He had accepted Chloe as a hero, and all the other big issues were out of the way. That just left Yuki's next moves as he fled to the east. And what's about to happen over there, whether I'll trust him again, I don't know. But war, huh? I let out a sigh.
God damn it.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
just
I
one
just had a-
thing after another these days.
Stop.
Stop.
We have one more freaking paragraph to go. We can do it after he finishes the chapter.
Okay.
And in my
I'll wait.
dejection, I couldn't help but wish for peace as soon as I could grab it. Asterisk. It was only an oral agreement, but gaining the cooperation of 2 more demon lords was enormous. If war really was to erupt, having allied nations on your side was a comfort in itself. I could expect support from them, and if things got really bad, I could even discuss evacuating my citizens to their nations. No war at all would be best, of course, although what depended on the other side's actions, what will be, will be. Whining wouldn't help with anything. So I decided it was time to take action. First, I needed some firm ground to stand on, something that ensured a battle against the Empire wouldn't cause any problems. I secretly resolved to prepare for anything and everything possibly headed our way.
Okay.
Bing.
Now you can
Chapter
go
2.
ahead. Now you can go ahead.
All right, I kind of like towards the end of that, I kind of thought like, Reamer was kind of building up his deterrence to like keep all the demon lords out. So you got Chloe for Leon, somewhat for Luminous as well, and then you have Diablo for Guy. Why are you here, Guy? It's like, I'll bring Diablo. I will bring him over, and he'll see you out. Leon?
Actually,
Chloe could see you out.
yes, I did just actually you.
Actually,
Rimuru is about to become the deterrent for all of them.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he's the more serious one, but then, like, you have the more comical ones.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's less that they're the deterrents for the other demon lords, and it's more like
Oh, real quick, Revan, thank you for 24 months.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. We're gonna focus mainly on the book just so we can keep getting through it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
At least it's chapter 1.
I know you're trying to be in streamer mode.
I'm streaming. I'm trying to do my job, sir.
No.
I mean,
no,
this is
don't.
also Richie's
No,
stream, too.
really.
no,
really.
don't. Here's the thing. This stream is not like regular stream. I did see that and I did acknowledge it by going like this. But like typically we're gonna try and ignore that. Because we are gonna try to focus on the book. Because we tend to get off topic way too much.
We spent a half an hour, got through like one paragraph at the beginning. Yeah.
We did. Alright. Moon.
Yeah.
It's your turn. We're starting chapter 2, accomplishments and preparations. Let's go. To be fair, we still got like an hour and a half if we want to keep going through this. So we've still got quite a bit. And to be fair, we're on page, on the physical copy? We're on
90.
79. We're on 79 and we've got 124. So yeah, we've still got.
We're almost a quarter of the way.
Yeah, dude, we've got a good amount to go through. So yeah, dude, we've got a good amount. Like, chapter 2 is not a long chapter. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
really?
A pretty short chapter. As far as like all the other chapters in here go, chapter 2 is a pretty short chapter. So we could
Might be able to blaze through it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Let's see what we
looking at it, look, this is how thick chapter 2 is. It's not thick.
A
at all.
little, but not too. Yeah, not
Yeah,
too
it's
bad.
pretty short. So let's go. Let's take off.
Several months had passed since the summit and Guy's sudden visit. Time had flown by so fast, it had already been a year since I became a demon lord. The Walpurgis meeting, the duel against Hinata, the Founders Festival, and then the fight against Maribel and the Rosso family. So much had happened that the year seemed to pass by in the blink of an eye. Even after the second annual Tempest Resurrection Festival, a much quieter affair than the first one, held with only my closest friends, the Empire still showed no signs of movement. According to Soe and Moss, however, supplies were being constantly transported to the main cities near their military borders. At this rate, even I could see the writing on the wall. War was just about to kick off. Given our assumption that conflict was inevitable, we had grown far stricter with our entry checks for people visiting Tempest. We couldn't put out the welcome mat for everyone and their dog like before. Now we only let in adventurers or merchants with the proper identification, as well as those with legitimate referrals or the like. This was out of concern for spies, but we had another reason as well, a sort of classification system. We were visited by far more than just humans, and each had their own qualitative differences. Those of unidentifiable origin often tend to be pretty uncivilized. And if we let a lot of those folks in, we wouldn't be able to handle them all. We could make it clear that hostile behavior around town was forbidden, but at the end of the day, we couldn't really stop some fool from storming in and going out of control. There was a barrier over town, yes, but it was tough to block every single kind of magic. That was the difference between a town of humans and a town of monsters. So after discussing matters with Gazel, we decided to follow the lead of the Dwarven Kingdom. When we granted someone entry, they'd need to first learn the basic Tempestian rules and regulations, an intake, basically. If someone wanted to relocate to Tempest, they'd need more formal schooling. We'd ferry them to a site built for that very purpose and teach them there. They'd receive an entry permit only upon learning an employable trade or skill. Shion's troops were a good fit for this job. If any would-be residents got violent, they could put them back in their place well enough. It'd help us catch Imperial spies, too, so I thought this system was going to be a permanent part of how things worked around here. During the visitors' intake, we'd gauge each visitor and ask them why they want to enter Tempest, preventing swarms of penniless people from rushing in. That's a different sentence. Preventing swarms of penniless people from rushing in was another way to stave off trouble around town. We had a lot of regular lodging around the Colosseum, but they were used by the destitute. The more well-off merchants and nobles were shown to neighborhoods with fancier quarters. For the real upper crust, meanwhile, we had our 5-star facilities, the best the city of Reamer had to offer. This was where we pointed visitors looking to recuperate at our health spas. They say the memories are priceless, but you ain't gonna get away with that in our nation. God help me. I am having trouble today. As much as I wanted people to enjoy their travels, you had to pay what you had to pay. Our price ranges ran the gamut. Your run-of-the-mill lodging started at 30 silver coins a night. The wealthier merchants and lower-level nobles could afford places that began at 1 gold coin. From there, the sky was the limit. Really, we had rooms available that cost 10 gold or more a night. Wait, why am I prattling on like some travel agent? My point, though, is that we could provide services for a wide swath of social classes. I wanted tons of people to see us as a vacation destination, so we were also working hard on PR, giving out high-end lodging to our most attractive merchants or people who made it past floor 10 of the dungeon. The dungeon runner clientele really loved that. Everyone knew how great the food was at those places, so it really built up enthusiasm. Even one meal there cost 10 silver coins and up. Considering they were cheapest accommodations, considering the very cheapest accommodations ran around 3 silver, that must have felt super expensive. But sometimes you want to splurge a bit, and sometimes you come across easy money in the dungeon. Providing people a way to spend that cash was our job as proprietors. Getting past floor 10, by the way, generally meant you were an adventurer ranked C+ or higher, capable of beating a B-rank black spider when part of a group. Doing that solo would rank you at least a B, so I figured it'd be fine to let them have some extra perks. Socially speaking, it's equivalent to being knighted in one of the smaller kingdoms. A B rank from the guild meant you could find work as a knight in well nigh any country. Recognizing people for their abilities like that naturally helps them mind their manners a little more. Besides, a B rank adventurer probably has a decent amount of money to their name already, labyrinth junkie or not. Ellen's party was pretty destitute, but that's wait, what? But that's the exception to the rule. Plus, if they do start trouble in town, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. The upper class district was surrounded by a moat and heavily defended. As we explained to visitors, if you're kicked out once, you're never getting back in again. Nobody's going to attempt crime once they're aware of that. So along those lines, I thought we were doing a good job projecting a clean image. Meanwhile, the merchants, being merchants after all, were clamoring to get in, sneaking Tempest-branded weapons and crafts to sell. Some of them were seeking, yeah. Some of them were doing a very brisk business, and a lot of them were pretty loaded. More and more of them were using our fancier lodging without having to be plied with free nights. To people like these, we sold the battle gear crafted by Kurobe's apprentices and the handiwork made by Dolds. All high quality, of course, and all well reviewed. The merchants would also buy a lot of the more unusual equipment picked up from the dungeon's treasure chests, something I wasn't thrilled about, but tolerated for the time being. I made sure anything really dangerous from there didn't leak out of the general buying public. All this stuff would then get sold across the continent, helping to boost our nation's image. Perhaps thanks to that, we had started to see a larger general audience of dungeon quests as of late. Guests, damn it. Word of mouth really is a powerful thing. You might wonder why we focused on this stuff when the danger of war was so close. But that was that. And this was this. Even
Sorry,
I knew that I was...
chat and I shouldn't have.
What?
I read chat and I shouldn't have.
Look at a Tempest. Here's your day visitor.
Yeah.
Love it.
Here's your day pass.
Even I knew that I was being pretty self-indulgent. But as much as I was on alert for the danger to come, I didn't fear it. No point giving up on living a normal life.
Right.
You just gotta keep building up what you can. So the capital was growing at a decent rate, as was our international transportation network. Following Benimaru's negotiations, Momiji and the Tengu tribe had pledged their support. We now had a mountain tunnel completed and the paving work was done as well, save for a few spots. We had also handed over construction on the highway between Tempest and Thalion to the laborers Archduke Errold brought along with him. So we'd have a direct route to there before much longer. God, all these run-on sentences. Work had begun on a railroad track to the Kingdom of Farminus, and it was proceeding along at a feverish pace. The track was already complete to Inglacia, wrapped up on time. Wait.
No, you
Okay.
read that correctly.
Wrapped
No,
up
you're right,
on
you're right.
time. It just sounds so weird.
It's
the same
you're
was true for the
pausing in the
Dwarven
correct
Kingdom.
places because there are commas.
Yeah.
You just expect
Uh,
it to be a period instead of a comma.
And the same was true for the
Yes.
Dwarven Kingdom.
Yeah. They even finished the lodging town located on a stop along the way. This was built on a spot past the forest of Jura, right where it intersects with the Great Ameld River. It was a perfect rest stop, and it saw use as a base of operations during highway construction.
Natural
The track was
20.
built alongside the
Jesus
river,
Christ.
so it was a fine place to serve as a midway point. We had enlisted
Oh,
the
yeah.
monster. What?
Sound alert,
Oh.
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Mm.
You don't have to speak about it. Stop interrupting him about stuff that scared the shit out of me. You don't have to worry.
I just saw the thing. I didn't mean to.
You don't have to comment about it. It's okay.
We had enlisted the monsters living nearby to build the town, and there was no reason to let it go to waste post-construction. So we outfitted the building some more and made it into a full lodging stop. Going forward, I want this town to become a major city and terminal hub, so I'm sure it'll grow in importance as the years go by. The highway to Eurazania had now been fully widened. It was still unpaved in spots, but fully navigable from start to finish. The merchants had been bugging me to get the paving done, because the route was jarringly uncomfortable on high-speed wagon. But even so, it was incomparably safer and more convenient than what existed before. Lights kept the whole highway illuminated for night travelers, and the automatic magical generators are at regular intervals formed a barrier that kept hostile monsters at bay. Thus, in less than a year, we had a full transportation network pretty much completed. Practical testing had begun for magic trains traveling at the Dwarven Kingdom and Inglacia, letting us tabulate data and work out issues. The track tests were all done, so now we were beta testing the trains on the field. They maintained an average speed of around 30 miles an hour and could carry an unprecedented amount of cargo at once. It'd pretty much rewrite the history of logistics in this world, I figured. Now we could transport food without it spoiling en route. That was bound to enrich cuisine across the board while reducing the number of people going hungry in times of famine. Oof. I was once again reminded how logistics like these were a must-have in order to expand our country's influence. Along with this data collection, we were also considering the Magic Train's operation cycles in detail, a trial and error process as we worked out our first public schedule. The track between Tempest and Dworgen extended some 620 miles. At 30 miles an hour, it took 21 hours, less than a day, to go from one end to the other. By comparison, Inglacia was around 180 miles away, so you could reach it in 6 hours. These figures, of course, reflected a pretty hefty safety cushion. In theory, you could run these guys 4 times as fast and load them with over 1,000 tons of goods, based on our calculations, but these magic trains were without precedent. If we ran them at full power and something came up, we wouldn't be able to deal with it. For now, we'd see how things would go. All transportation, of course, has its glitches, and we needed to factor rest time in as well. Magic trains could run for only so long at a time, so we weren't doing overnight runs for the time being. Besides, we couldn't assign day and night shifts to mechanics and operators unless we could handle replacement parts and other maintenance overnight. We currently had 20 locomotives in operation. Each one could pull 2 freight cars and 3 passenger cars, making them 6-car trains. Our passenger cars each held 80 seats, but could hold a maximum of 150 people. Although I figured we shouldn't allow that, since it forced people to stand for hours on end. Thus, if we aimed for over 200 passengers per trip, that'd put us at 80% capacity. That left the question of just how much to charge per person. But wait a minute, why did I have to micromanage down to that level? I'd just leave that to my old pal Mully. I'm sure he'd work it out. It was just a matter of time before we'd go into full operation, and once we had more of a track record, I thought we could boost our capacity a bit, adding to the convenience. Maybe we could aim for 10-car trains running 60 miles an hour. I thought that was doable. Definitely not a dream, something we'd really see happen before too long. So really, we'd accomplish an incredible amount in a year. No, we'd accomplished an incredible amount in a year. Announcing all these successes was bound to surprise and excite people the world over, I thought. It'd make the future brighter for us all, and it'd also show everyone how hard I was working and how useful our nation was. Lives would be more fulfilling. We'd enjoy better food and take in more entertainment from all around the world. In effect, I'd be promised a life full of fun, something I never could have thought about when I was first reincarnated as a slime. If it wasn't for the whole Eastern Empire thing, I could devote myself to my hobbies without a care in the world, but suddenly I had an idea. Why not team up with Veldora, plus whoever else wanted to join us, declare war on the Empire, and immediately assault them? I knew about the army of angels that attack us if our civilization grew too developed, but I didn't even have any idea where they were. Attacking them first was going to be difficult, but not the Empire. If they were preparing to strike us and not even trying to hide it, I couldn't help but think who could complain if we just did him in. Part of me was just being impatient, I knew. But with this sort of thing, it was always easier to attack than defend. If the Empire was aiming to annex the Western nations, there was no reason why they had to attack the Forest of Jura along the way. They could always decide to just ignore us. Everybody knew Veldora was revived now, and if you did even a little research, you'd realize that opposing us meant making an enemy of the Storm Dragon. It was up to the Empire to decide, and situations like these put us under a lot of stress. So was it even possible for them to stage a direct invasion of the West? There was no sea route. There was no sea route. Not even a fleet of Dreadnought-class warships would keep you safe against the giant sea monsters lurking there. Fighting on their turf was too risky to be tenable. There was no guarantee you'd have a safe voyage in the first place, and knights were at a terrible disadvantage in sea battle. How many ships would you need to transport the massive number of soldiers involved? And even if you managed to land them over in Farminus, it wasn't like Yeoman and his forces were clowning around. they were fully prepared to ambush them and defend their lands. Unless they established a beachhead on the first attack, the Empire couldn't send any reinforcements. They'd have the Royal Farminus force in front, sea monsters in the back. It'd kill their morale, and we'd score an easy tactical victory. Could the Empire ignore Farminus then, and advance through northern Englacia? That, we concluded, would also be difficult. North Englacia was a playground for demons. Guy didn't seem too interested in stopping them entirely, and Testarosa's underlings were currently defending the area. You had a bunch of belligerents waging battle over there at regular intervals, so if the Empire staged an invasion, we predicted they'd be sitting ducks essentially. Between this, that, and the other thing, a naval invasion seemed reliably out of the picture. What about on land? There, the Empire had two options: go through the internals of the Dwarven Kingdom or traverse through the Dragon's Nest within the Canat Mountains. The latter option was off the table from the start. Too risky. Staging a large-scale march across peaks higher than Mount Everest was suicidal, no matter how much you prepared for it. You couldn't train an entire infantry force to be expert mountain climbers, and even if you could, you had hordes of dragons, A-rank monsters, waiting for you beyond. Common sense dictated that not even the most epically stupid leader would pick that route. How viable was the Dwarven Kingdom route, however? I had Hinata check into that, based on Raphael's suggestion, and she reported that a large force could theoretically navigate through it. Gazelle wouldn't allow it, though, so if they actually made an attempt, the Empire would have to attack Dworgen before it ever reached the Western nations, and that was an incredibly reckless thing to do. The Dwarven Kingdom, officially neutral in international affairs, retained a well-trained standing army for its defense. They were outfitted in cutting-edge armaments, as the adage went. There was no such thing as a weak dwarf in a fight. Besides, the whole of Dworgen was designed like a natural fortress. All they had to do was guard the entrances, and they could keep any large force from storming in. Out of the three main entry points, dubbed East, West, and Central, the Empire would hit East or Central. The West exit connected to Farminus, so there was no need to keep an eye on that. The East portal nestled on the border with the Empire, was the most dangerous one, but Gazelle was no fool. He had concentrated his armies here, having them look into the Empire's moves. If something went down, I'd head to the scene as well. But overall, I thought we could leave Dworgen in Gazelle's hands. That, all in all, was the current situation for Tempest. In conclusion, the only real choice the Empire had was to pass through the Forest of Jura. And before my briefing with Benimaru, now part of the daily routine, my mind was in a spin over it. If they selected a route through the forest we protected, the Empire's biggest bottleneck would be the presence of Veldora. They could never beat him head on, so we guessed that they'd prepare a decoy force to try to lead him astray. I needed to remember that as I thought about our nation's defensive preparations. Within the Forest of Jura, there were three routes suitable for military activity. One of them, however, was in a region near the Dwarven Kingdom. If the Empire threw caution to the wind and invaded there, they'd be boxed in by Dwarven and Tempestian forces on all sides. The Empire must have known how dangerous this route would be, so I didn't feel we needed to be too alert for activity there. Thus, it was likely that they'd take one of the remaining two routes. But was it really that simple? It was never a good idea to split up your forces against a large foe, so perhaps we could station Veldora on one route and our full army on the other. That'd make us prepared for a potential decoy force. But I was no trained military officer, and even I could come up with that tactic. I doubted a professional would take such a simple approach. But maybe the Empire was looking down on us. Maybe they'd try taking an overwhelming force and mow down whatever they ran into, whether it was Veldora or an army of monsters. Or maybe they'd try something sneakier and more unorthodox, like make the main force the decoy and send our teams of guerrilla-style fighters who could group back together once they made it out of the forest. If so, well, it was impossible to monitor every single path in the woods. If we deployed recon forces, they could wind up casualties depending on the size of the enemy they ran into. What if they had teams of paladin-class fighters on the prowl out there, like Hinata and her soldiers? If we wanted to consider all those possibilities, there just wasn't enough personnel to cover all the plausible invasion routes. It'd be risky to make a move only when we knew the Empire's aims, so I wanted to avoid that. If we fell behind, there was a chance we'd never recover. That's what I was on the lookout for. But the problem was But the problem was that we had no idea what moves the Empire was making. In war, surprising your opponent gave you an advantage. Make a move your enemy didn't account for, and that alone often led to victory. We had to. Urgh. We'd have to consider every possibility. But now I was going around in circles. This wouldn't work. All this thinking was just frustrating me. Maybe we really should just go and attack them after all, huh? Wouldn't that be the right answer? Declare war, then go crazy on them next instant? We had no guarantees the Empire would move the way we predicted, so there was no point pondering this any further. I really thought the most rational approach was to attack without waiting for them to move. It'd give us the initiative and we wouldn't have to worry about all this other stuff. Not that I'd do it, but thinking about it like this wouldn't produce an answer. Thinking about it like this wouldn't produce an answer. It was best to play this kind of by ear. Yeah, I like the sound of that. It makes me seem so capable. Let's go with that. And so, coming to pretty much the same conclusion I did about every other problem in my life, I reached out for one of the cream puffs Shuna brought for me.
Pause.
Whenever I'm doing.
I have to catch up to where you are. Sorry, I was on the phone for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got some good news for Fat Dog that I can't talk
Cool.
about on stream, but the good news is it
Oh.
looks like resources were moved around. And so slime is now the high priority.
Cool.
Yeah. So it looks like Slime 9 could possibly come out at the end of this month. And secondary resources are as follows. Get your writer's caps on, boys. We're moving with Slime. We are moving forward with Konosuba. Fast.
Cool.
Hey.
Because
nice.
we need to put out some content soon. And that also means that we might possibly be putting out some old one-shots and revisiting some old one-shot scripts and getting those re-recorded. And Sonic, I may have some voice work for you coming up soon, because boy, oh boy, Moon and Sonic, I've got some old shit I need to revisit.
It's been a long time.
We
Although
haven't done-
I've been doing auditions a lot recently, actually.
Cells at Twerk is an old one-shot that needs to be revisited. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Let's go.
Oh,
I like
boy.
the sound of that.
I like
gonna
the
be
sound.
fun.
I like the sound. I like the sound of that.
So we got.
I'll get my breathing exercises done.
We've got some stuff. Coming down the pipeline. Yeah. If there are some of you that have been thinking, oh boy, we haven't had a lot of Fat Dog content lately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're about to get a shotgun blast of Fat Dog content coming at you.
To be fair, we did just have to deal with copyright, or they did have to deal with a bunch of copyright
Well,
strikes.
we're about to get a bunch of copyright bullshit coming at us.
Potential copyright
potential
strikes.
copyright
That's a very
strikes
big
coming.
difference.
Potential copyright.
Stay
nonsense.
tuned.
Some
Stay
potential
tuned to find out
copyright
which
bullshit.
ones get them.
Some potential copyright bullshit, but
Yep.
it's because we may potentially have to put out a bunch of content for some reasons. And
I will say that I did get my
recording.
recording. I will say I did get my recording area kind of set up a little better.
I can't talk about why, but it also seems like I may have to get at least a setup of. I may have to get a recording setup going, or just not cast myself in anything.
I just have the blanket and the tripod and
I'll
this
have to
chair,
get
sort
at
of.
very
and
at
this
the
mic
very
to
least. I'll have
prop
to
up.
get. Oh, hey, chill. Hey, Alan. I may have to get like a temporary recording area, or just not record anything. I don't know. May have to get like a moving blanket or something. I'm not sure what's going on. Big old moving blanket and maybe like some PVC pipe. That's something I can put together that temporarily make like a tiny little recording booth or whatever.
That's kind of what I'm actually working towards.
What happened?
Pretty much.
Mike go out? No. Mike did not go out.
Phone call. Got some important stuff. Other than
I had a
that, we're
phone
still reading.
call, and there was some important stuff that I learned, and we're like, oh boy, I'm
Yay!
we're gonna have a lot of work here at Fat Dog, and it means good things.
For me,
Good
especially,
things. Good things coming up in the future. That's what that means.
I'm actually get a voice finally.
I could be end of this month, beginning of next month, but Slime 9 is finally good. Good problems to have. Good problems to have.
You know. Here's a appropriate question since we're on this stream. Is anyone going to involve Palpy from the Valley's voice?
No.
No. No.
No.
I have to ask because this is the well, not
I will
this
tell you.
stream
I will tell
specifically,
you what
but-
I have been enjoying. Here's what I have been enjoying. Moon, you will also appreciate this. I have been enjoying watching a lot of the people since it's now available on demand, video on demand services. I have been enjoying watching a lot of people react to Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I have been watching that and reacting to that. I've been watching the reaction videos to that, and they're going, why did this do so poorly in theaters? Like, this is a fucking delightful movie. Why is it that people did not go see this? Why did the nerds not come out in full force to go watch this? This is a delightful effing movie. And I'm like, right? I saw this in theaters. This was so good.
What
Like,
service is
It was
it
a
on?
damn
I
good
might
movie.
try that. Maybe I'll do that.
it's on several services.
still need
It's
to
on
see it.
video on demand,
Oh.
dude. It's still in
Oh,
theaters
okay.
too. It's still in theaters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that next
Go
weekend.
see it in theaters.
Yeah. Real quick,
Yeah.
Shim, is your camera a little
D&D
cocked
was awesome.
there, or is that
No,
just me?
I'm stretching because my back is
Yeah.
killing me
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So
All right, so
I just noticed
I've seen
more of the side there than
all I
normal.
heard was cream puffs. I don't know where we're at on the physical.
Probably about like 2 or 3 pages later.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where we're at. So yeah.
even if
Keep
I
going.
overindulged,
Even
think
if
that's where it left off.
overindulged.
I have-
That's
Or,
fine.
I
no,
have
no,
dinner.
I was about to
It's-
say, whenever I'm doing serious thinking, I start craving something sweet.
I can't.
Mm.
I can't find us. So go ahead and keep going. I'll figure.
Oh
this
wait,
out.
well, hold on.
All right.
We have no guarantee. I think was the line.
No.
Keep going.
Like,
Nope.
whenever I'm doing serious thinking, I start craving something sweet. Even if I overindulge, there was no way I'd ever get bored of it. If I did, well, I'd just play it by ear then. What, just for you? That's not fair. Wait, who is... Oh, that's Shion. Okay. I was satisfying my thirst with some of Shion's tea and enjoying the cream
Oh,
puff when
oops.
Benimaru finally showed up. We were in my office a bit later than usual for our now daily briefing. God help me. I asked him to prepare for the Empire battle we were picturing, and it kept him really busy. But I wasn't narrow-minded enough to carp on him about being a little late. What? Why don't I give him a hand? I got no idea what you're talking about. This is no space for amateurs. Fair. Get some tea for Benimaru too, Shion. Right away. Benimaru, having experienced trauma at the hands of Shion's cooking.
You're like
What?
4 pages ahead on my end.
Oh shit, nice.
Yeah.
Shion's cooking always kept a wary eye on her. Tea was all right, at least, but even then, he never let down his guard. Classic Benimaru. Thank you very much, he said to me. All that work makes you crave something sweet, doesn't it? Yeah, kind of. We have access to a lot more sugar now than before. Hopefully things can stay peaceful around here. You're right, but if it comes down to a conflict, well, we can simply wipe the floor with them. Confident as always, I was glad to see that, but hopefully he wouldn't forget to at least try to avoid conflict. Here you go, Shion said, offering Benimaru some tea. She refilled my cup as well, the aroma already putting me at ease. So, how is Diablo faring? Or no. So, how is Diablo faring? Benimaru asked me. Oh, he's meditating again today. Again? Yes, again. Yes, Diablo was back. Oh, mediating. God help me. Yes, Diablo was back on mediator duty because Ultima and Carrera just couldn't stop causing trouble on a daily basis. It's not that they didn't get along, they were just driven to compete with each other on every single little thing. Yesterday, it was about criminal transport. Before then, it was over how to handle a suspect in custody. Sometimes they'd argue over food on the menu, sometimes they'd squabble over who would purchase a new outfit first. It'd be one thing if they kept it to verbal sparring, but when those two went at it, It turned into a street war that would make even the Yakuza balk. Once it reached that point, only Diablo could stop them. If he sent his underling Venom in, he'd just get his ass kicked. No innocent bystanders had been hurt yet, but they had become notorious enough that people bet on the outcomes of their fights, which was great and all, but I couldn't let this stand. So I'd send Diablo out to handle them, but perhaps it was time to consider a more permanent solution. Otherwise, I feared Diablo was going to blow his top before long. A little while back, Diablo took Ultima and Carrera into the dungeon. This was nothing cute, like a date, as he passionate explained to me. It'd be a chance to give them a thorough combat education. He used that space, and the immortality it provided, to beat the crap out of them. But apparently not even that taught them a lesson. In fact, fighting Diablo seemed to fill them with joy. Why did demons have to be so damn belligerent? I was really starting to wonder how much more I could handle. Wonderful picture.
Yep.
I have returned, sir. No, I have returned, sir. As Benimaru and I chatted for a while, Diablo returned, looking visibly drained. Hey, thanks for handling that. No, it was hardly anything difficult. But now I've lost the time I meant to spend with you, Sir Rimuru. Right, if you're not tired out, let's begin. Very well. Well, if he was still capable of talking nonsense, I figured he was fine. Diablo looked like he wanted to say something, but I was sure it was the same old crap as usual. No need to worry about it, I thought, as I began our briefing with Benimaru.
Okay, there we go. As I mentioned earlier, we were seeing increased immigration into the country. One issue this creates is how to get all these new people working. Our employment rate was very important, as it was for any nation. Having all our citizens working diligently in one position or another was vital for improving our productivity. If your employment stats were good, that also bumped up personal consumption, and in turn, the economy. If they were bad, that could lead to harder times and a rise in crime. Managing this figure was the job of a nation's leadership, but it was an incredibly tough one. Immigrants came to Tempest with a wide range of abilities, but we had only so much demand for unskilled labor that anyone could do. We were a rapidly developing nation at one point, experiencing a huge boom in construction, and that helped us keep things going for a while. But that era was coming to an end, and we had to think about what was next. Skilled people wouldn't be a problem. Artisans with technical talents and people who could keep a roof over their head with their skills were easy to accommodate. The issue was the people without the proper know-how or ways to make money. You could give a farmer land, and you could bring an artisan to a studio. The dungeon was ready-made for adventurers, and performers could be hired at a theater. But how should we handle anyone who lacked those talents? The answer I came up with was to establish educational facilities. During intake, we'd ask applicants about their skills and give them opportunities to learn based on their responses. These facilities were where they'd learn, and it'd be managed by Benimaru's forces. Immigration is on the rise, and we're attracting a lot of volunteers for the army. I can't say how qualified they are, but they ought to be able to handle security within our borders. That was the approach we had been testing out, but apparently the army was dealing with even more volunteers these days. Enlistment guaranteed you'd be fed, taught, a trade for free, and even get referrals to civilian jobs. Those were the rumors going around. Thanks to that, they were seeing not only new transplants, but adventurers and mercenaries as well. Now, given that we took on national defense duties for the Western nations, we did need to address expanding our military. With that in mind, I wouldn't call this a problem for now. We had little issues here and there, but nothing that wouldn't be handled internally. The problem was that it was starting to look more and more like war with the Eastern Empire. We couldn't put raw recruits on the line for that. So it was time to reorganize our forces. We had asked Benimaru to provide me with a new organizational chart. This is the new structure we've contemplated, he explained as he took out a sheet of paper and spread it on my desk. Some of the assignments are rather bold, I would say, but I think they can work. Benimaru would remain commander, with me maintaining supreme commander, including the right to appoint officers. These used to be basically the same thing, but I split them up and assigned one to Benimaru. My thought was that you can't let a military amateur like me attempt an army command. So I wanted Benimaru to have first say in all my military affairs. Too many S syllables within close proximity to each other.
He sells seashells down by the seashore.
Yeah.
Seashells by the seashore. That's probably about as fast as I could say it,
This
actually.
meant that Benimaru's orders outranked mine within the army.
He's like the medical officer, but the general.
Yeah. But not when it came to strategic maneuvers. I could appoint people to upper command, and I could declare an end to an ongoing war. Benimaru could name whoever he wanted to positions lower than general, but I was allowed to establish army corps and appoint generals. Thus, it was up to me to check over Benimaru's org chart and decide whether to consent to it. Well, if you think it'll work, I don't intend to complain about anything. Even if I didn't intend to complain, I still had stuff I wanted to say, given my appointive power. I'd have to answer to my assignments if something went bad, but we had already heavily debated over this organizational structure, so all that was behind us anyway. And in the end, the only appointment I really insisted upon was Gobta as leader of our 1st Army Corps. When you first suggested naming Gobta as a general, I honestly didn't know what to think, but now I agree this really suits him, said Benimaru. As his reaction indicated, there were differing opinions on promoting Gobta to general. Certainly, I could understand if the idea of giving that full Gobta actual responsibility made people anxious. He'd be making decisions that could affect his army's lives, so Benimaru and the other staff officers were naturally going to be hesitant. He slept through a lot of meetings, and it wasn't like I thought it'd go problem-free. But I also knew that he had undergone special training in secret, and that he wanted to keep his nation safe as much as anyone. Right? When push comes to shove, that guy really steps up. And when it doesn't, he doesn't. But his men trusted him, and in his own way, he cared a lot about others. Most of all, I trusted him. He's one of the big 4 as well, after all. I'm sure you're not incorrect in your judgment, Sir Rimuru. Precisely, chimed in Diablo. Also, just in case, I will deploy Testarossa as an observer. If he falls out of line, she'll fix him up. Shion and Diablo, his fellow Big 4 members, were just as enthusiastic about Gobta, and I suppose Benimaru accepted him too. Well, he said with a grin, as chief of the Big 4, I can't say no to him. And Diablo's right. If something comes up, we can just offer him some support, right? Let's give him the job. He'll be fine. He may not look it, but he's a really good guy. And so Gobta was now an army general.
Well on that.
I eyed the org chart carefully, checking out the other corps generals. 3 corps had been established in all underneath Benimaru's command. We had just discussed the 1st Army Corps led by Gobta with Hakuro as his military advisor. Oh, that'll definitely keep Gobta in line. Put Hakuro as his advisor? Jesus. The corps was staffed as follows. 100 goblin riders. Each one of them had grown to an A- threat wielding lieutenant level powers. 12,000 of the green numbers. The original 4,000 would receive promotions, while the 8,000 new recruits would sign on as privates. I was told they'd operate in groups of 3. We had gained a lot of soldiers in the past year, mostly monsters native to the Forest of Jura. That led to few difficulties, reportedly. The newer foot soldiers would be ranked no better than D or C, but the veterans had raised up to a B, and I could expect them to be a pretty formidable force. Next, we had the 2nd Army Corps, led by Geld. This force was currently deployed across the continent on intelligence and engineer duties, In times of war, we plan to call them back and have them serve as our main army. They consisted of 2,000 of the yellow numbers. This is the corps of high orcs who had served Geld since the bad old days. Each one was pretty powerful, ranked a B+, and they could form an iron defense that operated in lockstep with Geld himself. I'd have them serve as platoon leaders, bringing together the younger troops. 35,000 of the orange numbers, the newer high orcs, were brought on as volunteers to this force. As a team, they managed a C rank, but only the veterans. Some 15,000 soldiers would get involved in actual combat. We plan to leave the remainder, have the remainder provide rear support and engineering work. That left the 3rd Army Corps, our elite flying commando unit, finally ready to see some action. Their general was Gabiru, founder of the unit, and they were composed like this: 100 members of Team Hiryu. These guys needed no introduction. They were the best Tempest had to offer. Every member was an A- threat by themselves, combining flight skills with effective commanding capabilities. Some of them even made the grade for a solid A rank, capable of tapping the dragon body skill in a pinch. 3,000 of the blue numbers. This was the group of lizardmen volunteers who joined the force out of sheer love for Gabiru. As the original members of the group, they only ranked a C+ individually, but that didn't let you see the whole picture. The blue numbers' most unique trait was their fighting skill while flying on wyverns, securing air superiority and wielding the most devastatingly concussive force of any battle. However, we currently had just 300 wyverns ready in our stables. Not all of them had a mount yet. For the most part, their duties will involve backup support and wyvern management. It'll be a while before they really got to shine, but don't count them out just yet. Wyverns are a subspecies of lesser dragons, monsters worth a B+ ranking. Gabiru has found a way to capture and raise them. He says expanding their flock is his next goal. Once every blue number gains their own, that's when the squadron will really prove their worth. These were the 3 corps answering directly to Benimaru. So Geld's leading the 2nd Corps and Gabiru the 3rd. Doesn't sound like a problem to me. Yes, I considered a number of possibilities, but these seemed like the safest bets. He didn't need to remind me. These were generals I could rely on. I didn't even see any issue with Gabiru. Sure, he got way too full of himself, but he was well versed in combat, always performing excellently in our drills, and even Benimaru considered him a rival. I didn't think he was a particularly good strategist, but his tactical mind on the field was sharp. He also cared deeply for his troops, unafraid to pull them back if needed. A fine candidate for the job. And this, Benimaru said as he pulled out another sheet of paper, is the same as I showed you before. It listed 3 more military forces. It was Team Kurenai, Benimaru's elite guard of 300 troops. The A-rank Gobwa was their leader, and every one of them was ranked A- or higher. Now they also managed the Army's General Staff Headquarters. Seeing her in combat training, I was struck that someone like Gobwa could hold her own against an upper-level magic-born like Gelmud, or maybe even fare better than that. Looking at the rest of the unit, I saw at least a few who scored an easy A in my eyes, some who could take on a paladin and win. There was no guessing how deep their fighting skills went. For the most part, a monster's strength was evaluated based on their magical power, their magical count. If a monster was innately strong, the whole level assessment system wouldn't really apply. But in addition to their natural physical capabilities, our troops had received military training, granting them strengths better geared for battle. I don't think it's out of line to assume they're better than what the standard judgment criteria would suggest. I could tell because even with exceptional cases like Hakuro, it is plain to see across the board. The fact is, this unit's full of real warriors, well-honed troopers who managed to survive Hakuro's hellish training. Next was Team Kurayami, Soei's group of 100 or so intelligence officers. The unit was a mystery in a lot of ways. It was under Soei's complete control, and few people knew it even existed. As far as I was aware, however, they were pretty damn good fighters. Soka was a definite A ranker, along with the 4 squadron leaders serving under her. But that wasn't even the cream of the crop. There were a few special A people on the team, Glinda Atlee among them. What's more, a few folks who were through Tempest's justice system managed to work out plea bargains with Testarossa to serve under Soe and his squad. This included Gerard, who headed the Sons of Velt mercenary team, along with the elementalist Ain under him. Both of them were well past A rank and now serving as excellent secret agents. You remember the people that summoned Misery? At the Council of the West? Yeah.
They're here?
They made a plea deal with
Ooh.
Testarossa, and they now serve under Soe, working for Tempest. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that just happened. It's like,
That happened.
I want to make a deal with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you want
Well-
the alternative?
Yeah.
Where she kills
Yeah.
you? Yeah, no.
Yeah, so instead of working for Misery, they now work for Soe. God damn.
I mean, I feel
That's
like that's
okay. We get
kind
free
of
cookies.
better.
Here's the crazy
Yeah.
thing.
You're
So
fair.
on top of all the monsters, now Soe has a team of like high-ranking humans that work for him.
Like spies.
Political.
Yeah.
Political
Yeah.
spies.
This is the
Secret agents, yeah.
that's the fucking sideshow I want to see. I want to see the fucking spy thriller. The Tempest.
I want to see
spy
the Soe
thriller.
Spy
show.
X.
I want
Tony.
to see the Soe spy thriller. Let me see
No,
Being
see,
that.
it's not-
reincarnated as Soe.
That's the goddamn.
No, it's not Spy X Family. It's
That's
Spy X Oni.
Soe. That's Spy X Soe.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah, see? Perfect. Yeah.
We even have a mascot for it. It's
That's the
perfect.
cover for one. That's for the cover for manga volume 1. It's just that.
That is where it first
So
started.
the Sons of
Okay.
Velt have a nightmare every night. Soe Forger can't hurt you. Soe Forger. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Soe Forger. There you go. All right. Anyway.
Mhm.
What's more, a few folks who went through Tempest Justice System, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I once teased Team Kuriyami by calling them a rogue band of Special Forces problem children, but now it really was starting to look that way. Soe warned me not to expect much from them in battle, but I didn't believe him. They seem pretty good at assassinations, for one. And if you have that many dudes ranked above an A on one team, how can they not be total badasses? Honestly, I'm not completely sure what direction Soe was taking with these guys. You occasionally heard some ominous rumors about that unit, and I couldn't blame anyone for spreading them. Hold on.
So, there have been rumors about your unit.
Oh, what kind of rumors?
They're not eating their cookies. Some of them, dare I say, don't like cookies. Or something else is
Listen,
like,
the se-
they prefer raisin cookies.
Look,
listen, the
look,
Sex
look,
Dungeon Spies.
Look. They
Yes.
look, the oatmeal raisin cookies are what they use for torture.
Yes.
Yes. All right, anyway.
Absolutely.
And Stockholm
And
Syndrome
sometimes
is a
impromptu
thing.
tools.
All right, anyway.
They're
Impromptu
tied to a
weapons.
chair. It's like, would you like this chocolate chip cookie? Yes. Here you go. Wait a minute. This is a chocolate chip.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Last,
Can you imagine how many people would scream in terror like, oh, talk!
last but
No.
not least was Shion's
Yeah.
Team Reborn. 100 members in all. The one unique trait about this unit was that they just didn't die.
Simple as that.
Okay.
Or so the
Taking
legend
Like,
says.
Hold on.
people
Taking
just don't
advantage-
die.
Taking advantage of their astonishing regeneration skills, they had undergone incredibly severe training, making every member B plus or above. Considering they only managed C level before, that was the most growth out of anyone on our force. They had all proven themselves in combat against the Crusaders too. So for all I know, maybe some of them broke the barrier and scored an A rank. Team Hiryu was likely the strongest of them all for now. But as far as I was concerned, if any unit had the potential to snatch that title, it was Shion's. What's more, Benimaru had assigned Reborn to be my personal elite force, a kind of Imperial Guard. I wasn't such a fan of that, but using them for missions that took advantage of tenacity, decoy runs, for example, to buy time for the rest of the force, was what they excelled at most. I guess if things really got screwy, I could use Team Reborn as bait and run for the hills. That's how Shion proudly explained it to me. It should also be mentioned that although they were my personal guard, they didn't accept orders from me. They were there to protect me, and they were forbidden from abandoning that mission no matter what I told them. Even if I asked them to leave, they wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice themselves for my sake. It was such a menace. That being said, they were happy to run little errands for me, but I better not say that to Shion. Gotta keep up appearances sometimes. By the way, Shion also headed another force, a secret one not listed on these charts. I say secret, but it was kind of an open secret that everyone was aware of. This was her personal force, a kind of guard team for her, but in effect it was quite literally her fan club. I didn't know how big it was, probably not more than 1,000 at most, I thought. Officially it wasn't a force per se, so they weren't under Tempest's control. We also knew nothing about their abilities. Were they going to be okay even? I didn't want anyone to die for this, but Shion was training them on the sly, so I really had no idea what was up with them. Still, Dagrel's sons were apparently squadron leaders in this so-called force, and it also included some adventurers with battle experience. Maybe they'd come in handy later on, but I was more anxious than expectant. This wasn't the kind of force you wanted on the front lines, and it was obvious why Benimaru didn't put them in our official roles. I handed the sheet back to Benimaru and said, "Looks good to me. Seems we've got more firepower now, but I don't see any need to change up these forces. Neither of us needs to interfere with them, I'd say. Indeed, after all, I raised Team Kurenai under my own personal care, and I imagine Soe and Shion feel the same way about their own forces. I will refrain from adding them to the official hierarchy." Shion nodded her approval, and I had no objection, so I told him, "All right, make it so. Make it so."
Make it so, number one.
Make it so.
Make it so, number one, and then drop a number two.
Make so. Okay.
Then go take a shit.
That's literally what I just said.
What?
If you developed a team yourself, after all, you'd like to keep it near you. And really, we didn't need to list Gabiru's Team Hiryu either. That was his suggestion, and we accepted it. Gupta didn't raise the Goblin Riders exactly, but he was their colleague and their comrade in arms, and someone whose strength was without question. I wanted to keep that in consideration, even if we wound up switching commanders later. Now Benimaru took out a third sheet. "So here's what we need to discuss. These are all the forces affiliated with people besides me." Finally, the first two sheets simply outline pre-existing forces and their current numbers. The only real eye-opener was Gupta leading the first corps, and I was the one who suggested that, so it wasn't a surprise. Now, what have we here? I looked down the sheet, a bit excited.
This is a reminder. Take your medicine.
I'm doing it, Mom!
Man.
I like those skills. Like, and here we go.
By the way, that was an asterisk. Start reading, Sonic.
Yep. I'm gonna try it with the mobile again, but this time with a slightly lower font, so it's not as hard to see where it ends. What I saw were two diagrams marked as the left and right wings. The right wing contained numbers for our predefined corps. Roughly 12,000 for the first corps under Gupta, 30,000 for
The
the
P is
second
silent.
under
You say core.
corps. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did I say-
Also
I guess-
37,000.
37,000 for the second under Geld, and 3,000 for the third under Gabel or
Gabiru.
Gabiru. I just realized, like, no, I know that word. That's not the no. What the fuck? It's been so long.
We just don't say Gabil. We call him Gabiru.
Gabil. It's like it threw me for like I'm ready for it, and it's like no you're not.
No one says Gabil anymore. It's Gabiru.
Yo, it says Gabil. I actually was thinking you just brought the Trump thing up earlier.
We gave him a great
where are we gonna
name.
build the wall?
Gabiru is a great name. It's a great name.
He's a great person.
He's a great lizard.
I endorse him.
I endorse lizard people like Gabiru. Gabiru.
Gabiru for life.
Gabiru.
For a total of around 52,000.
But by the
This
way,
was
guys, you remember when I said we had 124 in the physical version? We're now at the end of 99. We have chewed through this chapter.
We have 10 hours and 30 minutes left in this book.
This is literally 20 fucking pages we've chewed through in this short amount of time. In this 1 hour, we've chewed through 20 pages. It's crazy.
Yeah, now for me to completely butcher all that.
Yay! Now to chew through 5 pages in 30 minutes.
Yeah, should I do the Palpy voice?
No, yes.
No, okay.
I heard yes and no.
No, yes.
This was Tempest's
That's-
standing force.
Yes.
And a scarily large force it was. We still had room for cults. I'm hurting like
To cultivate.
static. To cultivate. Yeah, I heard like some static. I
Don't
didn't know what
worry
that was
about it.
anyway.
Stop getting distracted.
Yeah. Don't distract me.
Read.
Cultivate them. Cultivate them too. Our nation's population just had passed 1 million. Yeah. And it was going up like a bullet. If you think about it, this was some pretty amazing growth. And it's what allowed us to maintain an army this size.
What happened to Palpy from the Valley?
I cut it out for a second there. Like, I want to get through this paragraph at least. And I realized I was kind of getting out of the voice. Like, I gotta get back into the voice. All right. That and treating the second corps like a construction team wasn't what allowed us to maintain this level of force. It would have been tougher this level of force.
The Force.
The force is a dark way to many abilities that some consider to be slimy, if you will.
Hilarious.
Have you ever
Sticky. Have you ever heard? Go on.
You ever heard this? You ever heard the tragedy
tale?
of Darth Plagueis the Slime?
Yes, man. You've told me the story about 1,000 times already.
Come on, Darth
If you played
Plagueis.
Lego Star Wars.
It's Darth Plagueis the Slime, man.
Don't
Darth
you want to
Plagueis
hear
the
about
Slime.
the slime? Yeah, he's not the wise. He's the slime in this version. I haven't told you that one.
It's Darth Plagueis the Slime.
Yeah.
It's Darth Plagueis the guy.
Darth Plagueis the guy. All right, I'm for it.
It's like, it's just some random dude. It's like, oh, you mean Guy the Demon Lord? No, it's just a random dude right over there, see?
Guy the Demon Lord. Yeah, Darth Plagueis the guy.
Darth Plagueis the Diablo?
All right, moving on. Sorry. I started this. I should have known.
Yeah. Force. We were talking about force, right?
The Force, yes.
Yes. All right.
It's an
I
energy
got
field
giggles.
that binds us, penetrates us, and...
What? Surrounds us, it binds us, it penetrates us, no homo. I will admit that went into Trump a little bit there. I don't know.
Okay. God damn it.
It surrounds us.
No.
I gotta stop. I got my jaws all.
Force.
My jaws and giggly.
Force.
Okay. It would have been. Oh, okay. Where about? It would have been tougher, I thought, if they were incapable of producing anything outside of combat. I really had to hand it to Geld and his soldiers. Without them, we'd be down a force of 15,000, and that wasn't nearly enough to tackle the Eastern Empire. The Empire. Love that word. That was an issue Benny Morrow and I had spent a little while stewing over. Once war begins, we can call back Geld and his corps then, said Benny Maru. That much will work as planned. But it is still not enough. The Western nations each retain their own militaries. Each militaries, I know. But having them deployed presents its own problem. Yeah. we could have taken over the council and all.
They did take
so
over the council.
We've taken. Oops. Yeah, we've taken over the council and all. So we'd be losing out if we didn't use them. But I think we'd have a real backlash on our hands. And should a problem arise with the Western nations, we'd have no deterrent left. That could lead to a bad situation. Everything seems fine here in Tempest, but if the Western nation citizens start to question our governing, that'll make future work harder. Indeed. We had gone through conversations like this several times. Benimaru's answers, I suppose, was the forces listed in the left wing of his sheet. It said, Western deployment, 150,000 Magic-born United. Oops, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me read that. Western deployment, 150,000. Magic-born United, 30,000. Volunteer Army, 20,000. Huh. Pretty big numbers. What kind of forces are these on the left? These are forces under our command, more or less. The Western development is the forces serving the council. Oh, oops. Western deployment is the forces serving the council. Like I discussed, these are treated as different from each nation's standing armies. They're directly employed by the money sent by the council, or really us, for the most part. Fair enough. If the council had given us military rights, that gave us command of the forces that directly served it. I knew that, but were they really this many?
Are you
This
understanding?
counts.
Are you understanding what you're actually reading?
A little bit.
Okay. I figure you're concentrating too much on what you're reading and not
Yeah.
actually on what's actually happening here.
I'm like trying to focus on making sure I'm saying things right a little bit here.
Okay, that's probably I figured that's okay.
You may need all right, so go back what you just read. This is what happens.
Here's what's happening.
I kind of, yeah.
Okay, so they took control over the Western Council, kind of.
Yep.
Right? And since they're providing the bulk of the money, and they're de facto in charge of the council, they kind of de facto control all of the military of the West. So
Within the Western
because of
nation.
that means Benimaru has to kind of allocate everything. And they're like, hey, we can't just kind of, if the Eastern Empire attacks, we can't just kind of take all of the military from the Western nations and bring it over to Tempest to fight the Empire.
Even though
even though
paying
we're
them.
kind of funding all this, we can't just take all their resources and just throw it over here into Tempest and be like one giant war against all this.
Yeah, because I know
We have
the
to kind of allocate
Dwarven
those
nation is
resources.
independent,
We
but
kinda
I don't know
have
about
to
the others.
Yeah, but the Dwarven nation also has an alliance with Tempest.
That's
So
true.
they
That's
work
that's the
together.
one weird
so
thing.
they'll work together, and also, here's the thing:
I need to get a haircut.
Rimuru knows that they don't really need the Dwarven nation's help. They can work together.
It would be nice, but yeah.
And they already have a rail system that's working between the two nations. So yeah,
Supply chains.
they have a crazy good supply chain right now that the Empire is not exactly well aware of. It's kind of there's some shit going on right now between Tempest and the Dwarven Nation, and also Elmesia, and now Farminus, that the Empire just don't know about yet. But anyway, so
The
yeah,
Empire.
technology is about to go crazy. But
It is time to build us a Death Star.
anyway,
No.
what's happening is they can't just take all those resources. They have to kind of allocate those because it's going to make the other nations in the Western Empire pissy.
Yeah, because they're not getting their stuff.
Also, here's the thing: if the Empire comes in and just rolls right over them, there's nothing to defend the other nations. So. There's a lot of that stuff going on, so they're having that kind of a talk. So Reamer kind of runs the Western nations, but he doesn't also run the Western nations. Like, he doesn't own the Western nations. You know what I'm saying? They have
He's
their
got like
own
a
shit.
pseudo grip on it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
I
not.
am the nation. Not really.
Not really.
Not yet, in a way.
He's not a dictator. That's the thing.
Mm.
He's a dick. He's not a tater.
What about being
Yeah, that's.
Beans and Franks.
Wait, what?
Beans
Shaped
and
like a
Franks.
tater.
He's shaped like a tater.
Mhm.
It's about time that tater salad and taco salad did.
Yeah, it's like this is our leader of this whole nation. It's just this
phallic
blue blob.
yam?
And he's just this phallic. He's just this phallic little slime.
Phallic yam.
See,
Phallic-shaped slime.
even more so when you got this one.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
that's interesting. What is that?
That's very phallic.
It's Rimuru.
It's Reamer.
Yeah, he's the holder for Diablo. See,
Oh my.
that's Diablo.
Oh,
Can,
That's
like,
why
sit
he's
here.
so happy. I understand now.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have the
Yeah.
cheeks. You don't have
No
those pink
cheeks,
cheeks.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, it's got the little crevice so you could put like your
So,
cords and stuff
Shem,
underneath it. So
Shem, I'm gonna have you take over reading so that it's easier for him to understand.
okay.
No, I understand. It's just my
Also-
brain's like in two different places.
Also, because we've got several pages before we reach the next asterisk, and I want to make sure that we get there in time.
Okay, so this council force
Because I
existed.
looked
Is that where
ahead
we
to
left
see how
off?
many
It's a
pages we
stream.
have before we get to the next asterisk before we have to end the stream, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Okay.
We did get Palpy from
Slow
the
and
valley.
steady. Yeah.
Slow
Mhm.
and steady does not
Yep.
win the race, unfortunately, because we're racing
Slow
Father
and
Time.
steady. The advantage
So
of moving.
this council-
Okay, fine. Fine.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I
No,
didn't know
you're
what's going
fine.
on.
No, you're fine.
The advantage of hold on.
The advantage of well, that wasn't.
Where are we at?
The advantage of
Advantage.
moving slowly is that one can always clearly see the road ahead. There. That's where we're at.
Yeah, hold on.
The advantage.
Yeah, there we go.
God
Is
damn
that
it.
actually?
Oh, sorry. The
No,
advantage of moving slowly.
I thought we were at really, though. I didn't ask.
No,
for-
we were not. That's not where we're. Like,
Oh.
Okay,
the
well, let's
advantage
finish
of
Really,
moving
that up.
slowly is
Finish
not.
that up.
No.
Finish that up. Finish that up. We'll wait. We'll
Okay.
wait till we get to really, though. Because I thought that's where we were at.
Hold on, I'm blanking now. This council force is where we're at.
Okay.
I was saying something else, and Chef was like, "I'm gonna see how long this could play out."
Jesus.
Hold on. Yeah, this council force existed well
Okay.
enough on paper.
Okay, that's where
Right.
we're at. All right, cool. Yeah, let's start
Okay.
there. Okay, cool.
All right. This council force existed well enough on paper, but they were chiefly knights and soldiers brought in by counselors from their home nations. They numbered around 1,000, and their main assignment was security at the arena and Iglesias' capital and the like. As a rule, each Western nation's members retained their own national military, charged with keeping the peace in their country. The council itself almost never was sent military forces of its own, so there was no real need to maintain an army. That's part of why they so readily handed military control to us.
Mm-hmm.
Really, though, I didn't ask for those rights because I wanted to boss them around in times of crisis. All I wanted to do was construct magic train railroads connecting these nations, and asking for approval every time I sent tempestuous engineers out to the field was a pain in the ass. If there really was trouble, we'd send out our own army, and with that decision, we had the soldiers contracted with the council sent back to their home nations for the time being. In addition, we decided to establish a peacekeeping force under the condition that we funded it. This was recruited locally since we figured people would be more comfortable with a force of humans instead of monsters and demi-humans. Let me see. Who's speaking? Yes, we disbanded the army once, and then it grew even bigger. According to Testarosa's reports, rumors spread around that joining the force ensured you free meals and lodging. So once we started recruiting, people showed up in droves. Yeah, but isn't this a peacekeeping force? We don't need 150,000 people for that. Each nation had the right to police itself. If we started rounding up criminals, we'd be overstepping our authority. A peacekeeping force's work is mainly disaster prevention, really, just helping engineers and providing rear support. I didn't think we'd even need 10,000 people, much less 150,000. Well, the way Testarossa put it, that was the demand we received from all the nations, Benimara began before explaining it all in detail. Once Testarossa assumed control of the council, she started advancing a pretty bold set of reforms. I had approved them all, but they had even bigger repercussions than I imagined. All these reforms were to be spearheaded by the individual nations. We'd simply provide the needed advice and technology, foreign aid essentially, official development assistance, to use government jargon. The way it worked was that the council would provide public funding, and we provide nationally backed labor to help with whatever the nations needed. We'd hire on local people, provide technical assistance, and manage regional demands. That gave Tempestians work and a salary, and it afforded our partners with the vital support they needed. A win-win kind of relationship. But there's no such thing as a free lunch. There was another side to this support system. For example, the way we covered our construction costs was to take back that amount in local water rights. If we built train tracks in an area, we'd apply a tax to train usage fees, collecting a profit on a permanent basis. Just like with the highways, we'd handle all the maintenance in exchange for customs, waivers, and other rights. Truly the work of a demon lord. Act all kind and charitable, then do some pretty vicious stuff behind the curtain. But we were helping improve people's lives. And our partners didn't lose out on the deal, really. They were just paying us in profits on matters they couldn't foresee doing yet. The larger nations, of course, would likely prefer to handle things by themselves. Maybe they couldn't yet, but once they saw what we were doing, they could always copy us, steal our tech, and run it themselves. I took that as a given. However, and so even the large nations are pushing us with demands for railway infrastructure as soon as possible, said Benimaru. And since we don't have engineers in Tempest to handle that, you deployed the people we brought on as rear support instead. That's right. But apparently not even they were enough, so we've been fielding local people and having them join us. And thanks to that, we now had a ridiculously large group of soldiers. I granted Testarossa full rights to act on my behalf as a diplomatic officer. I also told her that she could settle smaller affairs without having to report them to me. So not even Benimaru knew about this until fairly recently. Thanks to that, we employed a massive number of people. But isn't that what the large nations want? I asked. If we trained a bunch of technicians for them, that'd make it easier to operate things themselves. That'd be more efficient than industrial espionage, and maybe it's harsh for me to say, but I didn't mind that approach. It was something that occurred to any leader. The experienced personnel with this cultivated would become pillars of their native country. We lose some of our interests in the region, which was sad, but if the ensuing tech development led to more competition, that was pretty exciting too. It doesn't seem to be that way. They wouldn't want to let go of those technicians then, would they? Nah, maybe not. Wait, are you saying that you took the support troops Testarossa gathered and put them all in this Western deployment? That's right, Benimaru grinned, watching my surprise.
That's
right.
fucking brilliant!
Oh,
That's
I may have
fucking
thought
brilliant!
redheaded
My man,
rapscallion.
Benimaru! Oh my
Oh,
god, it was like,
You
hey,
rapscallion.
But you don't get to go back to your home country? Not in my country!
In my what? That's
Our
the thing.
country.
That's the thing about Tempest. Once you leave, you'll never want to.
Yeah, I
You can check out any time you like, but you can't never leave. Yeah,
What's really funny is
perfect.
here's how they got here's what happened. Here's what happened. They were like, "Hey, you know all this cool shit you're bending, all this cool shit that you're building, and all this job security and shit that you have. Man, you think that's cool? Hey, come here for a second.
It makes you never want to leave, right?
I want you to try this real quick. Taste this." And they have just a little bit of Shuna's Tempest food. And they're like, "Oh my god, this is fucking amazing." Yeah, you know we eat this shit every fucking day for every meal back in Tempest.
Shuna's cooking 24/7 in that kitchen.
Any extra lodging
You sure you want to go home?
for like the rest of my life?
No! Like, come join Tempest.
You guys
It's just the
have room
John
for one
Cena,
more
like,
for the
are
rest
you
of my
sure
life."
about that?
Are you sure about that? It's like, no.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to go home. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Fucking. All right, sorry. Continue. Just continue. Sorry.
That's right, Benimaru grinned, watching my surprise. It'd be a waste to train these technicians and just let them fade away. Better to establish a real full-on peacekeeping force that could train for disaster rescue, provide bodyguards for dignitaries, run civic defense drills, and so on.
Hell yeah.
That was the rather bold decision Benimaru made. Testarossa was about to let them go. She was done with them, essentially, but that seemed like such a waste to me. Yeah, I'll bet. That, and I thought I could find work for them, so I went on my own to name them the Western Deployment. I see. That made sense. Of course, I wasn't going to expect miracles from this force after only a year, but if they kept up their training, I could picture them as disaster rescue experts or the like. They'd be good for handling accidents, as Benimaru said, and as Benimaru said, we could use them in a variety of situations. All right, that was a pretty good decision, Benimaru. Oh, no need for praise, he replied, although he looked a bit bashful when he said it. Or he looked a bit bashful about it. But the Western Deployment, huh? 150,000 is a big number, but if we were going to deploy them across the West, it almost wasn't enough. And if it let us retain our interest in those lands, they'd certainly be earning their keep for us. It all came as a surprise, but it was certainly news to rejoice about. So, next up. Okay, I get the Western deployment, but what's this Magic-born United? They numbered 30,000 in total. Were they conscripting monsters from the Forest of Jura or something? That's a force primarily composed of the Magic-born who served under Clayman, actually. Geld had them working as prisoners of war, and we borrowed the ones particularly suited for combat. In exchange, we're filling the holes with the high orcs who were working on now completed construction projects. From the way Benny Morrow put it, he was making sure none of this shuffling affected the progress of Geld's construction work. If so, then, well, sure, having experienced fighters would make for a better force than amateurs, but those guys wouldn't be too cooperative, though, would they? Clayman's force was mostly B-rank Magic-born, though some were in the realm of A and beyond. Powerful as they were actually kind of weak as a group. Just a horde of monsters ruled by terror. Not at all a challenge for well-trained career soldiers. Even if you gather them all up, I didn't think there'd be nearly enough time to train them. Thanks to Geld, you won't find any selfish, violent ones in the force. Even if there were, well, I shut them up. I'm sure. I mean, fair enough. I'm sure it'd be easy for Benny Morrow to overpower any of them. Well, fine, but aren't they used to regular work by now? I'm not sure forcing them into battle is such a hot idea. It's all right, Benny Morrow assured me. This is something they suggested. This is something they suggested. They wanted to show you, Surimaru, that they could be of use to you. Huh? That was a surprise coming from him. As selfish as all those Magic-born were, now they were volunteering for duty? It comes down to good food, good company, a boss who says they need them, and decent work. That's what they valued, and they want to stake their powers on protecting it. They were quite enthusiastic. They were? It was an unexpected stroke of luck, but one I really appreciated. Conscripted forces, after all, were useless in actual battle. If they were defending their homeland, maybe there'd be no other option, but otherwise it'd be much smarter for them to unconditionally surrender. Nobody wanted to be a slave to another country. If you're going to be colonized and taxed to oblivion, you'd feign obedience and constantly seek out a chance to rise up and take revenge. But unless the invaders truly were cruel and abusive, you could decide to put up with a few disadvantages in the meantime. An invader could never ignore the feelings of the people living there. Those people needed to take responsibility for the future they decided on, and a ruler had to answer them. That's why I thought conscription was among the worst things you could do to people. It's why you never try to force patriotism down their throats. Tempest operated under my protection, and I had no intention of listening to outsiders pushing their own arrogant demands. As long as I wasn't willing to easily give up our rights, there was always going to be differences of opinion. If the other side wouldn't bend, that'd naturally lead to war, and I didn't want opposition to that. If someone didn't feel like protecting their own country, I honestly didn't mind if they just went off somewhere. One thing I wanted to make very clear was who I felt it was important to protect. Naturally, I'd prioritize my companions who stuck by me through thick and thin from the moment I established this nation. Anyone who came along later talking about their own rights, I had no intention of going quite that far for. If I had no citizens to protect, I'd probably bug out as well. And then I'd build a new nation somewhere else, with companions I saw eye to eye with. After all, I had no great affinity for this land. But at the same time, these people loved Tempest, this land we all belong to. I was ready to live up to every bit of that. No matter who attacked us, I smashed them with every ounce of my might. Hell, even if it was Guy doing the attacking, I was ready to use any trick in the book to kill him. I mean, he was a freak of nature, and I hoped it wouldn't come to that. But still, they certainly seemed enthusiastic enough to me, and I'd say they were being honest with their feelings. In addition, we also had volunteers among people across the Forest of Jura who heard rumors of an impending war. That's what the Magic-born United is composed of. Benimar chuckled a bit as he added, I did reject a lot of the weaker-looking ones, though. Well, excellent. It gave them a chance to really work hard for me. I was glad for it. The volunteer army, meanwhile, was a force composed of human beings living in Tempest or its neighboring areas. If we lost this war, no matter how it happened, the entire Forest of Jura would fall to ruin. Better cooperate with us from the beginning, then, and that's exactly what this band did. This army was chiefly composed of adventurers and mercenaries, many of them immigrant volunteers who had accepted into the country. We also had a lot of the idiots we saw constantly staking their lives in the dungeon, only to be eaten alive by my friends and my avatars each time. They numbered 20,000 in total, and while I didn't expect too much from them, that was still a pretty decent force. That's the composition of the left wing. So the main difference between the left and right here is the degree of loyalty to you, Surimaru. Me? The forces on the right consist of nothing but those ready to stake their lives for their nation or for your nation or you. On the left, meanwhile, are a bunch of people with different motivations. Some may have had lofty intentions, but we hardly had the time to interview each one of them. So I went with this organizational structure. I see. So Shion and Diablo were nodding behind me. I could already hear them saying pretty disturbing things. They're disposable pawns, then. Let us give them they're disposable pawns, then. Let us give them a trial and pick only the true elites among them. That kind of thing. But surely it was just my imagination.
No, I'm pretty sure they're actually saying those things.
Oh, they were actually saying.
Yeah.
No.
So-
They're gonna.
Yeah, 100% they're saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next issue is who to name the leader of each force. Now Benimaru was tackling the real task at hand.
Oh, boy.
Let's start with the. What's up?
This is like,
I'll
oh,
just
boy.
deploy the leader. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the
Let's start
thing. Here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
We can stop right here, or
Mm-hmm.
because we're at 107
Or.
right now, we could just read to
Mhm.
115 because I realized that 115 is actually where the chapter ends.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
rest of it-
where are we on right now?
We're at 107 in the physical copy, and 115 is actually where the chapter ends. The rest of it is actually just an interlude.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of it is actually just an interlude that goes
Mhm.
until the actual chapter ends. So we can keep going to the interlude and just read the next 7 pages because one of the pages is just a picture.
Oh, so it's 6.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually just
Okay.
yeah, it's actually just like 6 pages.
I mean, would that really affect next time? Then?
no, not
or
really, not really.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it could go either way.
Because chapter
Yup.
3 is actually a long chapter, like a really really long chapter.
Mm.
Like here's chapter 3. All right, that was chapters 2's thickness was very thin. Chapter 3 is a thick boy. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 weeks. This
Oh yeah.
is chapter 3. That's
Yeah,
where
that's
the
gonna
meat.
be
That's the meat
a chunk.
of this.
That's the meat of the. And
That's
there's
the
looks like
meat of
there's
the book.
4 in total.
Four is literally this. It's gonna be this. So we're gonna be in chapter 3 for at least a week or 2,
Okay.
or at least 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, we're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah.
right.
Probably.
So let's just
Should
go
I
ahead
continue?
and finish this up. Yeah. Why
Okay.
not?
Let's start with the Western deployment. They were the biggest force, but their members were still scattered all across the land. In terms of sheer numbers, Benimaru began, we've got 250,000 under our command, but I believe it best to keep the 150,000 in the Western deployment where they are, instead of moving them around. Yeah, they were still technically belong to the Council. Maybe we're free to move them, but I doubt we'll have to call them all the way over here. If we could get them all in one place, I'd be able to magically transport them in one fell swoop, of course. But managing a crowd of 150,000 is a huge responsibility. Without a chain of command in place, they'd never act like a sensible army. Let's get to get a solid security structure in place, just so Imperial agents can't start diverting their attention around the world. I agree with you, Sir Rimuru. I have the power to manage them, I believe. But let's keep the Western deployment where they are. There's no single leader for them, but I'm thinking that Testarossa, our diplomatic officer, can handle those duties can handle those duties as well. I like that idea. But if war breaks out, I might wind up calling Testarossa back here. If I do, I'm worried about how she'll stay in contact with them. How would she keep in touch with a force dispersed across such a wide range? We had successfully built a communications network connecting each nation and their main cities using magical calls, communication crystals, and magisteel wiring, but the infrastructure didn't extend out to the individual town and village level yet. In fact, that'd be a job for our corps of engineers. Each squadron in the deployment had at least one magic practitioner, so magic calls would be possible at least, but that will not be a problem, said Diablo. Moss is capable of managing hundreds of
Moss.
squadrons at once. Yeah,
Moss.
Moss. Yes,
Get your
that
mosses
is what.
out.
Yes, yeah, that's what Soe told me as well. Added Benimaru. Moss is working with him in intelligence gathering, but it sounds like he can also handle inter-squadron contacts on the side. He can? What an incredibly useful demon. Well, want to name him unit leader then? I offered. I would feel bad for him if we did. Indeed, given Testa's temperament, it would be a tragic situation for him. It hardly matters to me, of course, but I cannot help but feel a twinge of sympathy. All right, let's make Testarossa the provisional leader for now. Not only Benimaru, but even Diablo voiced pity for Moss. I could read between the lines well enough, so I withdrew my nomination. For now, the Western deployment would focus on its primary peacekeeping mission. Barring extraordinary circumstances, deploying them elsewhere would only be done as a last resort. Testarossa would lead them, but this was meant to be temporary. I meant it clear that we'd replace her once someone suitable came along. Next, the Magicborn United. Why don't I appoint Benny Morrow for that? Personally, I would suggest Sir Rieger, he said. Oh, Rieger? True, Rieger had experience leading a security force, but his over-A power was nothing to sniff at. But he was also an assistant to Rieger, and I wasn't sure he had time to lead a full army. If at all possible, I wanted to settle this war with our standing forces alone, but right then, we had no idea how much military strength the Eastern Empire had ready. We had our spies en route, but hadn't gained any intel within Imperial borders yet. Still, based on the snippets we learned about their training exercises, current estimates stated that at least 300,000 troops were going to be deployed. There was even a chance they'd send out over 1 million, a truly massive force. If it came to that, we couldn't afford to keep the Magicborn united on ice. Along those lines, I had no issue with Rieger's command, but I was still anxious. Managing a ragtag army with essentially no rehearsal was a dangerous job for anyone. I really do want to leave this to you, Benimaru, and in the future, we can call this mixed force the Red Numbers. I'd like you to select some captains from Team Kurenai to make this force into a coherent unit. We'll make them into the 4th Army Corps, and I want you to be their direct commander. I'd call them Red because they'd stop anyone in their way. Get it? My first dad joke in a while.
God damn it.
Amazing. Right.
Yay.
Right. I'll just keep that one to myself. Don't want to kill the mood. Despite all these ridiculous thoughts, I managed to retain my composure as the briefing hummed along. Very well. In that case, I accept the appointment. It looked like Benimaru thought I might ask that of him. He seemed ready to agree, not letting it faze him at all. He has a unique skill born leader, letting him cover for any lack of refinement among his forces, so he was the perfect person to lead a motley bunch like this. So, in addition to being my supreme commander, Benimaru was just appointed leader of the brand new Red Numbers. That left the volunteer army. Now, what do you intend to do with the volunteer army? Benimaru winced. There's the problem. These volunteers included a large number of humans. Employing a monster as commander, Benimaru worried, could lead to unnecessary dissatisfaction among their ranks.
Under the perfect person.
Yeah. Good point. If word starts getting around that humans can't advance in the land of monsters, that's going to hurt our image. Anyone with such insipid thoughts is a weakling, a loser, Shion cut in. They would never make any of the thing of themselves anyway. You have no need at all to worry about them. Shion, okay, maybe I don't, but if someone doesn't know much about us, that's going to sound an awful lot like the truth to them. True, humans can be a fickle bunch to deal with. Shion may not appreciate it too much, but a brand new image is a precious thing to maintain. It'd be ridiculous if we let this issue make us out to look discriminatory, so I thought it required serious debate. But is there really anyone suitable for the role? Diablo asked. There wasn't really. That's why Benimaru was so troubled. I hear you there, I replied. These are volunteers besides. We didn't even plan for them. But we can't let them go idle, said Benimaru. No, we couldn't. I appreciated the humans' ardor to serve us, and I didn't want to let that go to waste, but if we wanted to make good use of them, we needed a talented commander. This volunteer army was even more ragtag than the Magicborn United, the Red Numbers, and if you asked me who could make them into a united force, Benimaru was about all I could think of. So, now what? How about Gerard in Soei's force? Benimaru suggested. No way, I said. We picked him up as part of a secret arrangement with Inglacia. I'm sure he won't want his face seen in public. I didn't hear what kind of deal Testarossa stuck with him, but having Gerard bump around where anyone could see him had to be a bad idea. He'd been branded a traitor to all humankind. If we didn't treat him as dead, at least in public, it set a bad example for everyone else. I didn't have any duty to cover for him, but there was no need for him to take center stage for us either. Strength-wise, I'd have no complaints, but it's not very realistic, no. Benimaru didn't seem too serious about pushing for him. I suppose he just lobbed the idea out for its own sake before he moved on to the next one. Restricting it to human beings was a pain, though. We went through several names, but none of them seemed to really fit. Suddenly, Shion spoke up. Perhaps we could enlist the Crusaders for a little help. Benimaru and I looked at each other, then back at Shion. I'd hardly think so. No, that wouldn't be a... Then how about Sir Masayuki? She countered before I could tell her that wasn't a good idea. Masayuki. Hearing the name struck me like lightning. That's it! I shouted. Or, that's it! I shouted. Amazing, Shion, Benimaru hollered in tandem. That was the exact moment we decided to appoint Masayuki to be our volunteer army's leader.
Okay, Moon,
This
you
was-
take over.
Yep. Yeah, go.
Okay.
Water.
I love that. I love Shim. He's like, yes, go.
Yeah, I need
Please,
water.
my voice. Please, I'm dying over here.
Holy shit.
This was decided.
like, "I'm going."
This was decided, of course, without consulting the guy himself. But it was one decision that pretty much anyone would agree with. The only one less than convinced was Masayuki. Why me? He brought a hand to his head when I gave him the news, but I didn't have much to say to him. As sad as it was, this was war. Why people wanted didn't factor into it. Or what people wanted didn't factor into it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was thinking the opposite a moment ago, but I couldn't worry about Masayuki's feelings here. After all, things ought to be fine if I leave the volunteer army in his hands. In times like these, he was a valuable ally to have.
I love this image.
Oh, I don't know about Shion's. Like, I think the eyes are a little far apart, but yeah.
But I love the Rimuru and Benimaru.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love.
Yeah, it's like,
I love
oh,
the reaction
yeah.
from Rimuru and
That's actually a
Benimaru
really
in
good
this
idea.
image. Like they're like, oh, like,
Oh, they're
Ah,
adorable.
oh.
They're so small.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then Masayuki
You know-
like, what? All right.
You know, I think I've gotten better at using my chosen one unique skill, too. I'm not getting showered in praise after everything I do like before, but now I'm not able to use it when I want to, so please don't expect too much of me, alright? He was really being a sore loser about it, trying to weasel out any way he could, but I knew that wasn't the truth. After all, Masayuki was as popular as ever, and he still wielded massive influence around the world. But don't you want to show off to Kenya and the gang? If he accepted the job, I was willing to let him teach whatever weird stuff he wanted to the kids and bask in their adulation. Hey, it'll be all right. You can do it. But no buts. I helped you out when you had to face off against Bovix, remember? Masayuki's party had already made it past 450, where Bovix had served as guardian. During that expedition, I used my avatar to put my thumb on the scale a bit, softening up the guy enough so they could defeat him and take all the credit. That did save my hide, yes. So do we have a deal? All right. Between coaxing him and soothing his ego, I finally got a yes. You have been a big help, You have been a big help to me, Rimuru. I really did want to pay you back sometimes, so... He still didn't sound too enthusiastic, but he took the job of volunteer army general anyway. We received no complaints from those volunteers either. In fact, the reaction was more like, all right, and victory is ours, and so on. To them, it was like going in with 20 points already on the board. No matter how much of a hangdog expression he gave me, there was no turning back. I knew this would happen. Masayuki said he had more control over the Chosen One skill these days, but what did he mean by that? Maybe my hunch was right and he was lying, or maybe some of Masayuki's real luck was operating on him, skill or not. That'd be even more of a surprise, actually. Leon was the opposite. Everything he did tended to make him look as bad as possible. This was apparently the case even back in his hero days. I guess it can be hard to fight your true nature. Who is this? Is this Leon?
Nope. This is.
Oh, so
I think that's Rimuru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry all this got decided without you, but think about it. You're gonna be a banner who'll inspire the entire army. I tried to commiserate with him as much as I could, but regardless, Masayuki the hero was now leading our 20,000, mostly human volunteers.
Sonic, your turn.
So the corrected organizational chart had 52,000 troops on the right wing and 50,000 on the left. Benimaru was the very top, the generals of each army corps below him. Sorry. Just in my seat here. We thus had over 100,000 soldiers to work with. But I was still iffy on whether we could take the Imperial forces with that. No need to panic, though. All our preparations were continuing on pace. We had 150,000 troops in the western... Hang on, mouse. There we go. Deployment to back us up. Each of the western nations was prepping support units from their respective Night Corps. As a final defensive line, we'd get the western nations' armies to set up as well. The total would be over 250,000, I was told. And if push came to shove, I'd be relying on them. This was the figure we cobbled together from all the mercenaries and support troops, but it was hard to tell if it was a lot or a little. Testarossa had cajoled and threatened the council into cooperating with us. Not that they had much of a choice. If we lost, after all, it'd be their turn next. We wouldn't be tapping into any of these forces unless things looked pretty grim for ourselves. Regardless, we had the terrain advantage, as well as Veldor and additional support from demon lords like Luminous and Leon. Even Milim agreed to pitch in. The Beastmaster's warrior alliance serving Carrion would be ready to deploy at a moment's notice. A lot of saliva built up from that. Forgive me. That's why I have to take a second. I hear Richie spitting too. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. Plus, as my personal trump card, I had the Black Corps under Diablo at the ready. Benimaru had full command over the entire military. So honestly speaking, the hierarchy didn't give me direct control over any forces. In practice, though, the Black Corps took orders from nobody but Diablo and the three demonesses under him. Demonesses?
You had it right. Yes.
Demonesses? Okay. They were a fully independent army, totally out of Benimaru's control. Like, he couldn't. Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna make a joke. No, didn't.
Keep going.
That was the sum of our forces, and we hadn't factored in what move Yuki would make. A war, huh? I muttered to myself in my room. Did the Empire really want to conquer the Western nations?
No, they want the whole galaxy.
The galaxy. The galactic nations. I don't know.
There we go.
Not so Imperial March. Yeah. Guy had used the term game to describe his motives. It sounded like there was some connections there, some kind of restless ulterior motives pointed at the Empire. But even so, no matter who comes along, if they lay their hands on our little paradise, I'll crush them. Those were my true feelings. I had no intention of making the same mistake twice. I'm a demon lord. I'm the fucking emperor of the galaxy. And I cannot allow to put the wrong things first. Keep going, or?
I can't afford to put the wrong things first.
Yeah. Just one more paragraph.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as Rimuru and his companions were preparing for war, the Eastern Empire was doing much the same thing, except they spent far more years preparing. Slowly, carefully, step by step, the preparations for a grand offensive took shape. Before long, the Empire would wake from its long, long slumber, and only a small amount of time remained until the storm began.
Are we going to episode 9 here? What's happening?
And that's where I will pick up with these chuckleheads next week.
Knuckleheads.
All right.
Be sure to tune in next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
What? No.
Mm.
Same slime.
Same slime time, same slime channel.
Attaboy! Attaboy!
As the tempest continues.
Because that's the way the tempest cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
That's the way, we tempest,
What?
Yes.
I don't know.
Because that's the way, we
slime
it.
We slime it.
There we go. All right, so there we go, guys, and we even got some good slime time news. Slimy time news. Slimy time news.
The slimiest of news. We didn't have like a sound effect for any slime based on
slime of your life.
Cause you haven't.
That girl or that thing. It is the dancing slime.
Cause you're having a slime time, having a slime time.
Yeah.
Like Benimaru chasing. No.
Like a tire, defying the laws of naming things.
See, guys,
Slime
this is
is
why you
shining in the sky.
guys, we have
Ain't not
suddenly
a
realized
cloud in sight.
this is why, guys, we have all learned a valuable lesson about why it is that you don't write the lyrics for parodies. So there we go.
I can only write part of them, so. But when I do,
I can never focus enough to finish out a full parody. I've
Yeah.
got so many good ideas.
Same.
Just gotta listen to more Weird Al, I guess.
I listened to a
I
ton
wanna
of
go
Weird
back to
Al.
Weird Al.
Guys,
I don't listen to any.
so as you all can hear, I'm waiting to hear what their Slime Time Christmas carols are gonna be. So that is
Oh.
that is the
Oh,
new objective.
Reemaroo.
Oh my god.
What is the name of this holiday? I don't
No,
know.
no,
We gotta
no,
workshop it. You gotta workshop it.
So no.
He's the leader of
Start with that one.
Tempest.
No, you gotta do something better with that. No, come on. Oh Reemaroo. I'm waiting to hear. No, you gotta start with that.
Reemaroo. Let's see.
Yeah. So get back with me on that. Now you gotta
Yeah,
write
yeah.
Reemaroo. No. That's
Reemaroo.
no. Nobody else can help him with that one. Moon, you gotta get
Yeah,
back with me on that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Moon's project. Everybody else.
Oh,
has to
Moon's
pick up-
okay.
That's Moon's project. Everybody else gets their own. You guys gotta realize, guys, I'm the guy that sat here and came up with such random, wacky. Like I literally have Christmas parody songs to multiple anime. I have shit like, and keep in mind that this is when the second Fairy Tale series came out. We had stuff like you better not pout, you better not cry, you better not shout, I'm telling you why. Saber, wait, it was Sabretooth is
Natsu.
the greatest guild.
Oh,
Instead of
round.
Santa Claus is coming to
Greatest
town. It's like
Sabretooth is greatest. Oh,
I still
Sabretooth
think
is
it's
the
better with,
greatest
oh,
guild.
you better watch out. You better watch
Yeah,
out.
you
You
better
better
watch
watch
out.
out. You better watch out.
You better watch out.
Anyway, we had Sabretooth.
Slender Man is coming to town.
Instead of Frosty the Snowman, we were talking about the Endless arc of Fairy Tale. We're Natsu the Fireball. Talking about
It's a
how-
holly jolly.
no.
Okay.
I had that instead of
Not
Jingle
Holly.
Bells. It was ramen bowls. I eat them every day, and they always taste the best when I make Iruka pay. Oh, ramen.
Hey,
Yeah, exactly. So Naruto in there. We
or
got
it's Naruka being hey.
yeah, exactly. So it's dude,
You know, slime bells.
we hear the slime bell. We hear that slime boy jiggling.
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 No, not
Jiggling.
jiggling.
Jiggle.
Jiggling.
Giggling.
Yeah, jiggling.
Yeah.
Jiggling.
Giggling and jiggling.
Jiggling, that jiggling,
Yeah.
jiggling.
Bro, I can tell you some crazy shit. I can make up a lot of really good Christmas carols.
Sliming
For some
around.
We gotta still,
shit.
yeah. Let's do oh Reemaroo.
Oh, Reemaroo.
Okay, what if it was Menu singing that? Oh, Reemaroo,
Oh,
oh, Reemaroo, why must you name every stray you see?
You mean
Oh, there you
mean
go.
Not menu.
Raphael.
Raphael, right.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
you go.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Hey, okay, so oh Reemaroo just becomes a song about Raphael complaining about Reemaroo.
Please stop. All right, here's the thing. The number, and I'm gonna point this out. I'm gonna point this out for everybody. All right. The number one thing when it comes to, all right, here's how. Now this is just how I write parodies. What is your theme? What is your theme? Your story that you're trying to tell. All right. So what is your overall theme? Okay, your theme is this. So for you, it is okay. Raphael is complaining about all the things, or Raphael or Great
All the
Sage
naming.
is complaining about all the strays that Rimuru keeps naming. So the whole theme of this song is literally that. So with
Just complaining.
so the theme for Rimaruya is literally just a retelling of the events of Slime season 1. But it's done in a way that is kind of heartfelt and tear-jerking.
Sad.
Like it's emotive.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, Like
Sad.
it is kind of sad in a way, you know? So we just take the themes that's already there from Hallelujah, but we just equate it to Slime, you know? I mean, yeah, it's a little silly because we're equating it to slime and we're trying to make it match with the rhyming structure of Hallelujah. But at the same time, when you actually set it to an AMV, uh, that works with the narrative and the actual lyrics that you have going in the verses, the individual verse for each of the different verses, it actually evokes a lot of emotion. Yeah, it works. Anyway, you guys will find out about that later. And for those of you who are patrons, you'll get the karaoke version.
Yay! Yay!
So enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yay! All right.
I guess I'll put a pin on Orimer then.
Well,
I'm
you
already
don't have
started.
to work on Orimu. You get to think up your own thing.
I thought that was it, the Orimeru.
No, each of you get your own individual one. You don't do Orimaru. Each of you gets to think up your own one if you're wanting to work on one.
Oh, so not
Orimaru.
just Christmas themed specifically.
No, you get a Christmas theme one. You just can't do Orimaru. You got to think of your own Christmas carol.
Well, that was the one you told me
I've
to do.
No.
Yeah.
no,
Oh, no, Moon or me, apparently.
Moon gets Orimaru. Sonic, you get
Oh,
a
I thought
different
I
one.
got Orimeru.
Sorry,
Oh, never mind.
sorry. Moon gets Orimaru.
Because I've already got 2 lines.
I don't know which
I
one.
guess the 5 Golden Rings one would probably...
Oh,
Maybe.
you want to do the 12
12
days
Days of
of
Christmas?
you want to do
Yeah, 12 Days of
Oh,
Remeruism.
the 12 days
12
of
days of
Tempest.
Remeru-
Yes.
No,
12
the
days of
12
Tempest.
days of
That's right.
Tempest.
Yeah!
The 12
Tempest,
days of
let's go.
Tempest.
One!
Because it actually
One
works
That'd
with
be easier to
Christmas. The,
Oh,
the
you know
first
what?
day of Tempest. on the
That's
first
gonna be
day of
so
Tempest.
easy
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it'll just be going through all the
Uh-huh.
things he
Numbers.
named, all the strays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the first day of
Exactly.
Tempest, my true love gave to me,
To me.
a giant dragon in a magic
What?
sphere.
One
Yeah, or something like
Storm
that.
Dragon.
A storm dragon in a
Uh,
giant sphere.
I kind of want to
Magic
do like
sphere.
the 5 Golden Rings, but like 1 golden slime.
No,
even though
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
actually
no.
golden.
For the
Oh.
5 golden rings, it would have to be.
You still got to go
um,
through numbers.
Yeah.
5
Should that
scary orcs, and then he named them.
Yeah.
And then and every line he's like, and then he named him after every number,
Oh,
and then he named him
5
Yeah.
Kijin.
That he named.
that he named. Yeah,
Oh.
there you go.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
literally, you just show the
Yeah.
Kijin, and then there's the Will Smith meme.
yeah.
I feel like we could very easily animate that too. And be
Dude,
like,
I would so do
and then he
this
named
shit
it
as a
Matic.
meme. You know?
Yes.
Great.
I'm writing this down.
Hmm.
See, the thing is,
What would there
the
be
thing
12
is-
of?
Old
gotta-
Demon
here's the
Lord
thing. Here's the
stuffer.
thing.
I got
No, no, no,
eight's
no,
easy.
no.
Eight's easy.
The 8 demon lords.
Mhm.
That he didn't name.
Primals. Well,
Yeah, I can't make the that he named bit for that, unfortunately.
7.
Hmm.
How many dungeon masters were there? Like 10?
10, yeah,
Yeah.
I think something like
I
that.
think there's 10. Yeah. So there's okay. So that's
On the
easy.
10th day of Tempest, my true love gave to me 10
10
floor
dungeon
bosses.
masters.
Oh, 10
Dungeon-
dungeon
No, I'd be like
masters. You're right.
10.
Yeah,
10
you're right.
dungeon
Right.
masters.
10
I got
dungeon
like
bosses.
5 on the brain.
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
dungeon bosses. Yep.
5
Yeah, 10
onion
dungeons, bosses,
rings.
9. Yeah.
Now I'm hungry. All right,
Uh,
guys.
What about like?
yeah.
Guys-
Can we do cookies somewhere? Can we get cookies somewhere?
You probably
Where do we put
can
cookies
fit
on that
the-
list?
You could probably fit cookies
5
on there somewhere, can't you?
chocolate chips.
Five-
No,
no,
no.
don't put chocolate chips in. Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, that's it for us.
Yeah, I'll workshop it.
We finished
Yeah.
chapter 2, basically. The interlude,
Yeah.
I'm not counting technically as chapter 2. I'm
No.
just gonna say that
No.
next week is chapter 3. So we're gonna enjoy this.
Yep.
Where's the?
Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. Man, it's late.
Video
we're going
skits.
to we're gonna end the stream here. Thank you all so much for coming and joining us. We really appreciate it. Have yourselves a good
thank
night,
you.
and we will see you next time.
smash.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Smash, smash,
Bye bye.
Bye.
smash, smash, smash.
Schmeh.
Very shameless.
Yeah, we'll smell you later.